You'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, scheduled next day or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN on a cold, chilly day before we're supposed to get this winter storm, which I just want to start off by saying, and no one else has said it, a lot of people are trying to throw shade at the weather people. I'm not going to do that, Alex. By the way, Alex Berardis is in the 97.3 ESPN studio. I just want to say thank God it's not going to be worse than we thought. By the way, those are not my gloves.
Let Clemic be. Let him do his thing.
Someone tell Dave Clemic he did not give me my gloves. He gave me his gloves. Great. This is a good day. This has been a day, folks, if you don't know. But in all seriousness, Alex, I think instead of complaining with the weather people, we need to actually be grateful that it's actually not going to be worse this weekend, especially for those of us down here, because it really does look like that if you're like in the Philly area, Alex, it's going to be like 18 inches of snow.
I mean, I've been seeing TikToks of supermarkets at Ole Miss University. They're clearing out the like. These people do not know how to respond to a winter storm, and they're going to get maybe 2 inches,
maybe
if that. No, everybody's acting like the ice age is coming through here. Relax. At least for us down here, yeah, you're right. Philly area, you guys about to get smacked in the mouth. But down here, I think we're going to should be pretty fine.
So, but still, be careful. You know, it's going to be windy tomorrow. I think that's probably going to be the bigger issue than just the pure snow. By the way, Alex, if you are wondering, we didn't talk about this off the air, but yes, there are contingency plans in case you and or Billy have trouble getting in tomorrow.
I was assuming there would be something in place.
Well, I have something in place. There's not something in place. I have something in place.
See, Josh always has something in place. There's always something that no one has ever thought of. Josh has always thought of it and has had a plan set up in place.
Well, I wouldn't say nobody's thought of it because me and Mike Gill had the conversation yesterday. So it was kind of like Mike's like, what do you think we should do kind of conversation.
Well, the idea I was going to pitch to Billy, he's already doing. So I was like, all right, that's cool.
The him staying down here part.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's smart. It's just a question of, for those who don't know, and again, I'm not Dave Clemic. I don't depend on ChatGPT for my weather forecast. But actual humans who disseminate information have revealed that basically the problem with this storm isn't actually the storm, Alex. It's the timing of it. Because and we'll get into sports in just a minute, but this is kind of like a public safety announcement, okay? Public service announcement, I should say. PSA for those who are over the age of 40 who remember that used to be a thing. The storm is basically going to be a midnight to midnight storm. Anytime, and again, as not an expert in meteorology, but as a weather junkie that I am, Alex, which probably doesn't surprise you considering I am the straight up geek in all facets of things.
Hey, freshman year of college, I took a meteorology class.
Okay, so maybe we have a quick conversation about this. For those who don't know, the problem with the weather system is that because it's starting at midnight, the snow that's coming down is the precipitation is going to come down at the time that's going to be the coldest. And when you have the atmosphere, we have this Arctic blast coming down, and because it's happening at the coldest point, by the time Alex and Billy are going to be heading into the studio tomorrow morning, you are basically going to be in the heavy.
So what I'm hearing is Fran McLaughlin's got to do his job real good tonight. And
yeah, well, that's part of it.
Yeah, but Billy and I are putting our bodies on the line for the betterment of you people.
People.
You're welcome. Let me just put that in.
You people.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, you people out there. It kind of reminds me of on the what's the name of the WWE documentary now that we've been watching? Unreal, where Paul Heyman says, "We do this for you people."
Yeah, he hates it.
I love how much he hates it. We actually got to get into that a little bit later because I think there's a huge parallel between the regular sports world and WWE. But we got a jam-packed show today. Let's get into it now. I got a lot to say on the Eagles coordinator search. There's a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of real information out there we're going to get into here on 97.3 ESPN. Also coming up on the show, we have Tony Jones from The Athletic. The Sixers play at 3 o'clock today, Alex. And so the Sixers playing at 3 o'clock, we want to get an insight because I believe that the game that they won in overtime on Thursday night was the most important win of the entire season. We'll get into that coming up. Also, Flyers, somehow, some way, after losing, 5 or 6 in a row, they have now gone on a road trip. They have taken down the Avs. They took down the Golden Knights, and they almost beat the Utah Mammoth, which is the worst name in professional sports, in my opinion. They got 5 out of 6 points on a road trip. What gives? We're going to get into that. Plus, state of boxing. So we, as you know, Boxing Insider Promotions returns to Atlantic City, Tropicana, AC, Saturday, March 5th. Larry Goldberg from Margate, South Jersey promoter. He will be in his 7th time at Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City in the last couple of years. We'll get a perspective on the state of boxing from him. Also, the full NFL coaching searches, Eagles Offensive Coordinator, NFL Championship Sunday with Rob Maaddi at 2:25, right here on 97.3 ESPN. So, before we get to anything else, I want to set the stage for our conversation about the Eagles OC by playing a clip from Ross Tucker, the Ross Tucker podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. Ross does a great job. You hear him on Westwood One coverage of the NFL throughout the entire year. You know, you hear him sometimes on NFL games, college football games on the weekends. Ross, the former player in the NFL. I believe Ross Tucker, if you take away all the fluff, all the mess, all the minutia, all of the rumors, you remove it all. What Ross Tucker said yesterday on his podcast, I think is where we have to start with the conversation about the Eagles offensive coordinator search.
Two things can both be true. That there are some candidates out there that would rather go somewhere where the expectations are lower, and if they win a playoff game, they're a hero. Or there's an easier media market, or a more forgiving fan base. Better weather. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's also true that the Eagles' track record, as it comes to hiring coaches, is really good. Sirianni's hired 3 assistant coaches that have gotten head jobs, and Vic Fangio, by the way. And the last time Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman hired head coaches, they both won Super Bowls. I think the Eagles deserve a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here.
That's where I want to start, Alex, because there's been a lot of misinformation put out there about this offensive coaching search. And listen, if you want to talk about a job that nobody wants, the Browns' job is the job that nobody wants because their GM is actually making people do like a personality literacy test as part of the job interview, which is why guys like Mike McDaniel and others have pulled out of that job search. The Eagles aren't doing that, okay? There is nothing wrong with saying someone doesn't want your job. You know why it's okay? Because if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. You got folks got to stop treating the Eagles OC search like it is a normal job hunt. This is like dating. This is like being on Facebook dating, Tinder, Bumble, whatever app you want to use for those of you who use the dating apps. The Eagles are in the process of dating. They're in the process of having conversations with people, and those people who they're having conversations with have to decide, is this situation that we have put ourselves in with the Philadelphia Eagles worth my time? Can you handle the media? Can you handle the fans? Can you handle working with a quarterback who, frankly, does have some limitations? I think we all can admit that. That's not rocket science. And by the way, most quarterbacks have limitations. But it doesn't mean the job is undesirable. Greg Olsen was on the New Heights podcast. Again, another former NFL player. This is what he had to say.
If I'm an offensive play caller, I'm doing everything in my power to get that job. I want to go call offensive plays in Philadelphia because you can do whatever you want.
Pick your poison, man.
That's a great job.
Think about that. That's a current player, Travis Kelce, a former player, Greg Olsen, joining with Ross Tucker and saying this is not a bad job. This is not a bad opportunity. The problem is that there's a media narrative out there that makes it sound like it's bad or it's not good. I'm here to tell you that the people who don't want to be here, I don't want them here either. Now, Alex, I'll admit, I'm not thrilled with some of the names on the market, okay? I'll admit it. I'm not naive to that. I like the idea of Brian Daboll, but I would have preferred Cliff Kingsbury. But Kingsbury doesn't want to be here because he says, he doesn't literally say. There are reports that say that Kingsbury doesn't want Jeff Stoutland on his staff. And for a lot of people, and Sal Palantino talked about this yesterday on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, any coach who doesn't want Jeff Stoutland on their staff is a red flag. Not because Stoutland is infallible. I've had my complaints about him here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis. We'll check on the text board in just a minute, 609-403-0973. We're also streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig on YouTube and X. We'll get your thoughts and comments throughout the show. If I have to go with somebody, I like the idea of Matt Nagy because he's an adult in the room. But some of these other names, Declan Doyle, Nathan Shieldhouse, Josh Grizzard.
I'm hearing a lot about Jim Bob Cooter here. You're not feeling him?
I'm not feeling him either.
All right.
He sounds like he should be Alabama's coordinator more than Philadelphia's coordinator. I can't take that name seriously. He sounds like a character on the show Universal Basic Guys. You ever see that show?
Have not.
It's actually a show by a bunch of South Jersey guys about like South Jersey stuff. You can find it on Hulu. It's fine. But like it's like Jim Bob Cooter is like the guy who goes with them to the game and says, "I can call this offense," and then he gets down the field and you're like, "You're not that much better than the guy we already had." So again, I know he's a very experienced coach, but to me, I just don't want to see an inexperienced guy come in here. I don't need another pass game coordinator. I don't need another guy learning on the job. And that's my only concern with the search right now is the Eagles are searching low and high, crossing all their T's, dotting all their I's, because they realize they got to get this move right. Oh, and by the way, can we also mention one other thing, Alex? It is not a coincidence that a lot of teams have not filled their openings because there are coaching candidates on the teams that are playing tomorrow afternoon and evening in the championship games. There are a lot of organizations like the Bills, like the Eagles, like the Cardinals, and others who are waiting for those guys to finish their seasons to start filling out their staffs. Look at a team like Tennessee. Look at a team like Baltimore. They basically hired the head coach, by the way, Atlanta as well, and they haven't filled out the rest of their staff yet. So there's another part of it where I believe the Eagles are saying, hey, there are people on the Rams, the Broncos, and other teams that we might want to have conversations with, and you can't have it with them, Alex, until the weekend is done.
Well, that's why they've already requested to interview, like you said, Declan Doyle with the Bears. And I found it interesting the Bears didn't decline the Eagles' offer to interview him,
which they could have.
Yeah, which I find that interesting, and that might be a red flag to me because it's like, all right, you just brought a second-year quarterback to the NFC divisional in overtime, and now your offense, interview him. That's a red flag up there for me. But with some of these guys like Brian Dable, McDaniels going to LA, but Dable especially, I've heard to him it's either really going to be the Bills head coaching job or the Titans offensive coordinator spot. Like you said, I can't believe that Philadelphia is that undesirable of a position. Other than if these guys are just scared of the fan base and the media in Philadelphia and they just aren't ready to put their reputations on the line. Which, like I've been saying for weeks here, I think you don't have to do much to look better than what was last year or this past season that we just had. It was so bad that you just have to be mediocre and you're going to look like a genius because of how bad it was. I feel like if you go take a job in Tennessee or any of those other, like Cleveland, for an example, I feel like you're just burying your career there. You're going to go there, it's going to look bad, and then no one's going to rehire you. Philly, we have all the weapons in the world. Yeah, the whole A.J. Brown thing, will he be here, will he not be here? Even if we don't have A.J. Brown, you still have Devontae Smith, who's a number one receiver on 90% of the teams in this league. Saquon Barkley, an offensive line that's still pretty good. And then Dallas Goedert, maybe go get a tight end in the draft. Who knows? But there's still more weapons. And then Jalen Hurts, of course. More weapons here in Philadelphia than anywhere else in the league. I just find it insane for these coaches to not look at it like it's a desirable spot.
But again, I think it's also because there's two things. One, there's a lot of reporting by reputable people. And I'm not talking about the Twitter trolls. Okay? Like reputable reporting that Jeff Stoutland being the O-line coach and run game coordinator is an obstacle for some people. Some people want their own O-lineman. And the reason why this is relevant, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with this. This is probably something that is better for a podcast than a radio show on 97.3 ESPN. But people who are much smarter than me have explained that every offense has its own style of run game. The Shanahan offense, for example, uses a much more of a zone running attack, and Stoutland is more of a man-on-man running attack. So, think about it this way, Alex. Playing basketball or hockey, right? There's one way to play defense, right? You can play a zone defense, or you can play a man defense. Jeff Stoutland, to use the analogy, plays a man operation, man-on-man. That's your man, hat on hat. Other offenses, like the Shanahan tree, they use a zone. It's less about who your direct assignment is, but your area of assignment. And it feels like, Alex, some people, that's too much of a difference for them.
It's crazy because how many other offensive line coaches in the league do you know by name?
Oh, don't ask me. You mean the average person?
Yeah. That's even better. Yeah, just like the average person, Jeff Stoutland, I feel like league-wide is one of the only offensive line coaches that people know. That's saying something. That's not like a little feat. That's pretty big. And we saw how effective it was. This was pretty much the only season that was under Jeff Stoutland where the run game just didn't look good. The year before, obviously, 2,000 yards with Saquon Barkley. But every year, the Eagles were known for having the most dominant and most effective offensive line in the league, or if not the top three. One off year, shouldn't be enough for some of these guys who don't even have a job right now to be saying, I'm not willing to go there because he's there. That's just ridiculous.
Listen, that's part of the issue. I think the other part of the issue is what Greg Olsen said on the New Heights podcast, which is there is still a negative perception of the Eagles head coach with some people.
I love Sirianni, and I know he gets a lot of flack and people want to come after him. I love him. I love his energy. I love his edge. I love the way he manages the game. And I end up fighting the entire universe on behalf of him a couple weeks ago. That was a losing proposition.
And it's a losing proposition, Alex, because there are just some people that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they just don't like Sirianni. Sirianni has become a sports example of what happens in our modern political world, where the person can save the world, have a cure for cancer, give you $1 million, and you still hate him, right? So it's the same thing with Sirianni. He brought you to the Super Bowl. Not good enough. He's still an idiot. It's like, I think that what Olsen said, I think that there are some obstacles here, but it's okay. And you guys can text in at 609-403-0973 who you want to see the Eagles hire as offensive coordinator. Let me know. Personally, the name that I am warming to the most is Matt Nagy. That's the guy that I am liking personally the most. You guys can chime in at 609-403-0973. That is the text board. We're also streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Don't forget, we are brought to you here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. One of my great sponsors, Boxing Insider Promotions. They return to the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City on Saturday, March 7th for another jam-packed, action-packed fight card. The first action-packed fight card in 2026 in boxing will be Saturday, March 7th, featuring the undefeated 16-0 Justin Figueroa. Of course, he won his first NABF belt last summer. Also on the card will be undefeated rising star in the women's boxing ranks, Leah Lewandowski from Berlin, New Jersey, as well as Holy Spirit High School graduate undefeated up-and-coming heavyweight Josh Popper are among some of the many great fighters who will be in action Saturday, March 7th, Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Coming up next, we're going to flip it over to the Sixers. The Sixers had the biggest win of the season on Thursday night. What does that mean for the rest of the season? Joel Embiid is averaging more points in the month of January than any other month this season. Are we starting to see Joel ascend? Is this team ramping up? We'll ask Tony Jones from The Athletic about that next. Josh Hennig, Alex berardis hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
The exciting action of the NFL postseason is on Westwood One.
Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown! If you hadn't seen it, you would not believe it.
This is Scott Graham. Join us Sunday for complete coverage of the conference championship games. Our broadcast kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until the Super Bowl matchup is set. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's on Westwood One.
Listen to the NFL Championship Round this Sunday, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Are you ready to sell your home? Call Dave Beach. He makes sure his clients receive the very best in service. Dave Beach at RE/MAX Community is your trusted local expert. Fast closings, top offers, and service just like your family. 609-685-4942. Online at soldbydavebeach.com.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
We're famous for our buffalo wings. The Piccalilli. When it comes to cooking wings, we're the king. The Piccalilli.
The champs are back, and it's game time at family-owned Piccalilli Inn. Skip the lame chains and treat your friends to their world-famous wings for eat-in or carry-out, and 6-packs to go. For game day, get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 in Chemung, New Jersey. Visit Piccalilli.com.
If you can't stop in, stop back. The Piccalilli Inn.
Any trade goes. Now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage. No charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
To qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action, earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Open to new users in New Jersey from 21 or older. Minimum odds is -500. Award is non-withdrawable bonus bet expired 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis live in the 97.3 ESPN studios. Sixers basketball coming up today on 97.3 ESPN. Tom McGinnis calling all the action at 3 p.m. And the man who is at the game today is Tony Jones. He is back with us talking about the 76ers after what I consider the biggest win of their season Thursday night. They overcame adversity, they overcame bad calls, and they found a way to win against what is considered an NBA Finals contender in the Houston Rockets. Tony Jones covers 76ers for The Athletic. He joins us right now on 97.3 ESPN. Tony, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate you jumping on. I want to start with the game on Thursday night because I felt that was might have been a moment in the season, Tony, where it finally looked like this team wasn't going to let a moment or adversity or a situation bring them down and out. It felt like that was the moment where those guys said, you know what? We're going to go out in this overtime, and we're going to play it like we can win it.
Yeah, they've had a couple of moments like this. I mean, even the season opener against the Celtics. Now, the difference is we didn't know that the Celtics were actually good in game one of the season, but, they were down double digits with about 8 minutes to go, came back and won that game. They came back and beat the Celtics again at home. But neither of those wins, we were still at that point thinking the Celtics were still taking a gap year. And those wins have aged well over time. I mean, you don't need any further context with the win over the Rockets than the fact that the next night they went out and went to Detroit and beat Detroit and beat the Pistons rather handily. So, that was a good win. It was a win where obviously you had the goaltending gaffe by John Goldberg and his crew that should have given the Sixers a go-ahead basket with about 3 seconds left, and they put all of that behind them, and they figured out a way to win the game. But I think the most important thing was that was maybe the first win all season where you could point to at least 5 or 6 guys and say, okay, you don't win without this guy. Like, you don't win without Tyrese Maxey going for 36 and 10. You don't win without Joel Embiid's 30-point triple-double. You don't win without Kelly Oubre's 26 points. You don't win without Paul George's defense, especially in the overtime on Kevin Durant in point of attack. And you don't win without VJ Eskim's, overall point of attack defense and his ability to do things miscellaneous that, rookies shouldn't be able to do. So, that felt like a complete team win. Now the question is, can they stack it? Can they go out and beat the Knicks tonight? And if they beat the Knicks this afternoon, I should rather say, can they go out and beat Charlotte? And then can they come back and finish off this homestand in a positive way? Can they start stacking wins? That's my question.
Tony, you just mentioned in that Houston game, how is there no way that the NBA or the officials can go back and look to see if that's a goaltending or not just because Houston came up with the basketball? I thought that was ridiculous. They can go back and review if a guy's foot was on the line minutes later, but you can't go back and look to see if it was a goaltending or not. Like, I think that's just unreal.
The way that the rules are set up, a goaltend has to be called to trigger the review. So what should have happened, and Nick Nurse alluded to this in his post-game press conference, was that the goaltend should have been called, and then the game should have been stopped, and then you review it to see whether it's actually a goaltend or not. You see this happen a lot down the stretch of games where, a goaltend is called, especially in the last 3 minutes or whatever, and then, an official will stop it, they'll review it, and they'll see whether it's a goaltend or not. And a lot of times you see those goaltends waved off when the review shows that it's a clean block. So if anything, this is a complete mistake of protocol by the officials. That call should have been made, and then they should have reviewed it, and the review would have shown that it was in fact a goaltend, and Philadelphia would have got the 2 points. But without calling it, then you can't review it, and it doesn't trigger the review. So it's a weird rule, but it is a rule. And by the letter of that law, the officials follow that part of the rule. Where they messed up was they should have called the initial goaltend in the first place.
Tony, you mentioned, if I can backtrack for a moment, Tony Jones from The Athletic joining us here on 97.3 ESPN Sixers Knicks later this afternoon at 3 o'clock. You mentioned about Paul George. Talk about how Paul George has embraced, frankly, a role that he hasn't had since, his second year in the NBA, where he is not the primary. He's not even the secondary. And some nights, he's not even the third option, but he seems to become very comfortable saying, I'm going to do whatever my team needs me to do to help win this game.
The dirty secret about Paul George, and I figured this out from getting to know him a little bit this year, is this is exactly what he wants. He wants to be the third option. He wants to be the guy that can go out and concentrate on affecting winning just by doing the little things and, kind of filling in the blanks. He's extremely comfortable being the third option in this offense. And I think that he's really leaned into his perimeter defense this season. And to be honest, I think that he's had an all defense worthy season. He's been that good defensively. But the thing where we all want from Paul George, right? Like, we see him and we see the skill set, and in his prime, we're like, this guy can be a top 5, top 10 overall player in the league. He's not at that point because the athleticism and the lift at the basket, that sort of stuff has slipped a little bit, but he can still go out and get you 15 to 20 points a night because he's 6'9" and he's super skilled. Where we saw the kind of role where he fits in with Maxey and Embiid against Houston was he went out, he took on the Kevin Durant challenge in overtime. He excelled at that. He hit the big three to start out overtime, and he hit a huge three. We're not talking about this part enough. He hit a huge three with about a minute left to get the lead down to 2 when Houston had gone up 5 points, and it looked like they were going to go ahead and win the game. So Paul was still capable of making big shots. He's still capable on any given night of being an offensive engine, particularly if one of the first two are out. And his defense this season has been absolutely terrific. I think his defense has been elite.
Tony, you mentioned about also the defense. It felt like at the beginning of the year, this defense was like nowhere to be found some nights. How much of the defensive improvement is getting the guys back, like Paul George ramping up, Joel Embiid getting better, more should I say healthier, I should say, and then Kelly Oubre coming back, or how much of it is just the guys just learning how to play with each other better?
Well, you didn't have Paul George or Kelly Oubre for pretty much the entire season up until January. One of those two have been out pretty much that part. So you haven't had those two until January, until the calendar flipped. Joel Embiid, we focus a lot on his offense, where his biggest slip has been his defense and his lateral movement and his ability to protect the rim. In the last 3 weeks, all three of those areas have gotten a lot better. So when you have VJ Eshkom on the floor with Paul George, with Kelly Oubre, and even Tyrese Maxey, with the way he's been opportunistic in terms of coming up with steals and forcing turnovers, the Sixers can do a lot of switching up top, and then they can go into the drop big, where Joel has been a lot better over the last 3 weeks, and he's improved as he started to feel better. So, the defense has been a lot better in terms of that. The question with the Sixers, and it's been the question for 3 years now, is just, how consistent can they get this 5 on the floor? How consistent can they have their guys on the floor? Not to plug a story that I did with The Athletic, but I'm going to plug it. I wrote today about the Sixers being a team that profiles as a 16-win team, meaning they profile as a playoff team. But they have to get to the playoffs, and they have to negotiate the 82-game regular season in order to put themselves in position to possibly make a run. And that's going to be their biggest challenge. Going through this 82 games, winning enough games to get a seeding that matters, and staying healthy in the process so that when the playoffs come around, they stay healthy. And, the defense is about continuity. It's about chemistry, and it's about having 5 guys consistently on the floor at the same time. So, it'll be interesting to see how that works out going forward.
Tony, I would be disappointed if you didn't plug the article because as a personal subscriber to The Athletic myself, I think everyone should be subscribed to The Athletic and reading the coverage over there because, listen, if you came on here and didn't plug it, I'd be a little disappointed, okay? Let's be real.
No, I appreciate that.
Tony, Tyrese Maxey just got named to be one of the All-Star starters, but he was asked in one of the post-game press conferences if he could bring any one of the players, who would he bring? And he immediately said the process, Joel Embiid. What does that say about the respect that Joel still has in that locker room? You know, with all the talk, whose team is it now? Is it Tyrese's? Is it Joel's? But what does that answer say about how they view Joel in that locker room?
Well, Joel and Tyrese are extremely close and have been for years. You know, almost since Tyrese got into the league. You know, Joel views Tyrese as a little brother and kind of an heir apparent. And, you know, Tyrese's time is starting to be now for obvious reasons. You know, that being said, I think it's clear that Joel Embiid is still playing at an all-star and even an all-NBA level. He's not going to get enough games to qualify for All-NBA or any awards. But, you know, I think that, you know, he's averaged, 28 points a game in January. I think that he's played well enough to be an all-star. And I think, you know, more than anything, you know, NBA players are a brotherhood. And, you know, I think everybody in that locker room knows exactly what Joel's gone through, the hardships that he's gone through. And I think everybody in that, there's a lot of people in that organization, and I would say, or everybody in Philly, who question whether Joel can get back to this level. And the fact that he has gotten back to this level is, frankly, to me, one of the better overall stories in the NBA this season. You know, coincidentally, the same doctor that worked on Joel's knee is the same doctor that worked on Kawhi Leonard's knee. And you could see that Kawhi Leonard's having his best year in some years as well. So, you know, I think, you know, with Giannis Antetokounmpo announcing that he's got a calf strain and he's going to be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which means that he's going to miss the All-Star game. I think that now Joel Embiid's chances of making the All-Star game have increased, maybe even dramatically. You know, and I think that if the Sixers have a strong close to this part of the schedule and can maintain, you know, being in 4th, 5th, or 6th in the Eastern Conference, I think that there's a chance that Joel can get into the All-Star game and the Sixers can have some representation.
He's Tony Jones, covers Sixers for The Athletic. Follow him on the X platform at Tony Jones NBA, as well as, don't forget, be like me, be a subscriber to The Athletic. Check out all of the Sixers and all of their coverage on sports, the NBA, the NFL, the Eagles, and more. And, of course, Sixers, Knicks today, 3 o'clock. Hear all the action on 97.3 ESPN. Tony, appreciate you jumping on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis. We'll get back to text board on the other side. 609-403-0973. Jeff in Summers Point, Glenn and Absecon, Jeff in Ocean City. All your texts coming up next. Who do you want to be the next Eagles offensive coordinator? We'll get into that next here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers Knicks later today on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
10 seconds. Embiid, lead pass Maxey. Maxey's going to dunk it. The Sixers are going to beat the Houston Rockets.
It's Sixers basketball later today. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Any trade goes. Now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
To qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Come in and check out Macy's this weekend for new active sets to keep up with your New Year's goals. There are so many great pieces in the store, and the deals are incredible. Like head-to-toe men's and women's looks from Adidas, Champion, and more, all for $50 and under. So head into the store and walk out with great deals on new active and so much more starting tomorrow. At Macy's. Savings off select prices. Exclusions apply.
New Jersey, ready for real savings? Switch to Allstate today. Because drivers who switched saved an average of $713 on their auto insurance. So, what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for an auto insurance quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Based on the national average annual savings for new customers surveyed in 2024, savings vary, subject to terms and availability.
Straight Talk presents the math of more. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
The Red Hot Winter Sales event is underway at Matt Black Kia. Right now, choose 0% APR financing for up to 72 months or get up to $10,000 cash back on select new Kias. And for the ultimate Red Hot Winter deal, lease a 2026 Kia Sportage LX for only $129 a month with $4,650 due at signing for 24 months. That's right. Choose between $10,000 cash back, 0% APR financing, or a lease for just $129 a month. And if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today. Visit mattblackkia.com or call 215-703-8526 for details. It's got to be a Matt Black Kia.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or bird seed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Open new users in New Jersey for 21 or older. Minimum odds minus 500. Award is non-withdrawable bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by.
Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who?
Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
They need to hire a cheat code offensive coordinator, okay? You know, like bring somebody out of retirement or find somebody who's aged out or is not. Find yourself a Dennis Allen because you have one on defense, and his name's Vic Fangio. He's not getting a head coaching job. He doesn't want one, I don't think. Find somebody, find a Josh McDaniels. I know it's easier said than done.
That was Chris Long. He was a guest on the Rich Eisen show this week on 97.3 ESPN. His take on the Eagles OC search. We'll get back to the text board. We got a lot of names coming in on the text board at 609-403-097. But first, I want to tell my friends over Prevail Nutrition. Now, we got the snowstorm coming in tomorrow, so they will not be doing deliveries on Monday. But because of the weather coming up, Prevail Nutrition has a special deal for you. If you follow them on Instagram and Facebook, they are having a special snow sale, and you can get your food Tuesday and Thursday this week. So if you have been trying to maybe eat a little healthier, or maybe, you know what, with this snowstorm, maybe you don't want to cook it all this week. Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't want to deal with making food. I don't want to see a microwave. I don't want to see an oven. Let Prevail Nutrition simplify your life. You can order online at prevailnutrition.club. Listen, I already got my order set up for next week. Tuesday and Thursday next week. It's a special snowstorm edition of Prevail Nutrition orders. They deliver to Atlantic and Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City, or you can pick up in Absecon. Again, this week it'll be Tuesday and Thursday. You can customize your meal plan or pick from the Prevail Selects menu. But again, go to their Instagram or their Facebook, Prevail Nutrition, for the special snow weekend sale. That's prevailnutrition.club. Be like me, simplify your life, and don't let the weather get in the way of you having some great food. All right, back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Back to the text board, 609-403-0973. Jeff from Ocean City says, where is Frank Reich? Well, Frank Reich's name has not been brought up anywhere. So I think that's a very clear sign that Frank just doesn't want to do it. I would think that if Frank Reich wanted this job, he would probably be first in line, right? Because that's Sirianni's mentor. That's Sirianni's guy. Nick Foles has said Nick Sirianni runs Frank Reich's offense. So I would assume if Frank Reich wanted this job, he would have had it already. But there is no information out there he wants this job. And frankly, the reporting that I have heard is that Frank Reich is kind of like he's burned out with coaching. He just doesn't want to do anything anymore. He wants to go spend time with his family and his grandkids. And you know what? He's an older guy. Maybe that's okay. You're allowed to go and live your life and be a family man. You're being paid like $30 million to go away by the Carolina Panthers. Maybe he's like, bleep the NFL. Maybe that's how he feels.
Yeah, he kind of fits the mold that we heard in the audio when we came back from break. There's Vic Fangio type guy he doesn't want to get a head coaching spot. He just wants to stay, just do the offense, kind of laid back. But yeah, I don't think Frank Reich, and he's earned the right to say this, that he's fine just sitting on his couch the rest of the time and just enjoying retirement now.
We got Glenn from Absecon says, any offensive coordinator who's had success has talent on a team. If you don't have the horses, the scheme doesn't matter. The Eagles barn is full of studs. You would think any OC would be all over this Eagles job. It's crazy. Well, that's the perspective, Glenn, that guys like, Greg Olsen have. A lot of people around the NFL, it's funny, Alex. It's the people who played the game who are like, this is a great job. It's the people who haven't played the game who are like, I don't know if I want this job. So it kind of goes to show you the difference in perspective, right? It's kind of like how, they kind of make, a wrestling analogy. How certain people, like people in wrestling love Seth Rollins, but the fans view him more as a heel. So it's like, sometimes you get a perspective from a person in the locker room versus outside the locker room.
Yeah, and all these statements and claims from people who haven't played the game are making these coaches look at the spot in Philly as so undesirable now because they're going to have to deal with all the criticism that people are giving them.
Jeff from Summers Point chimes in at 609-403-0973. Jeff says, bring Deuce Staley in at least for an interview. He's a tough coach, great in the locker room, fans love him. Why not? Says Jeff in Summers Point. Well, currently Deuce Staley is he's technically employed by the Cleveland Browns, even though they blew out that coaching staff. I think the problem with Deuce is two problems. One is apparently he has interviewed for jobs before, and his interviews do not go very well. Now, is that because he's too rough around the edges? Is it because he's not, this, rah-rah kind of guy? He's more of a grinder? I don't know. You would think the Eagles organization would know him better than anyone. But listen, I don't know if, frankly, I don't even know if the Eagles want Deuce Staley. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but, I do think there's a part of this conversation that has to be had that, maybe he isn't the right guy for the job. I understand where Jeff from Summers Point is coming from, that he is the type of guy that they do need an adult in the room. That's why I personally like Matt Nagy. I think you need an older guy who has been there, done that. I don't want a young guy. I don't want a Declan Doyle or a Nathan Shieldhouse. I want a guy learning on the job, Alex. I want a guy who's an adult who could walk in and be like, been there, done that, get out of my way.
Yeah, that is Deuce, but at the same time, he's only really been a run game coach, run game coordinator. Like,
right.
We need an experienced guy. That's why, there's all these reports now saying that the Buffalo Bills are looking and they're interviewing Philip Rivers. Not saying Philip Rivers can't have success as a head coach in this league, but it was the same position that the Eagles were in last year and that they're in now. Bills are in win-now mode. If I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, I would not want a first-time head coach, a first-time coach of any kind other than high school, to come in and try to win this team a Super Bowl. Same thing as the Eagles last year. We brought in Kevin Patullo, who had zero experience calling plays. And we're in the same spot this year. We need someone experienced who's had time, who's had the experience to call the plays in the NFL. That's just what we need when you're in a win-now scenario, in my opinion.
Another texter chimes in. The text board is 609-403-0973. He says, I think it'd be very interesting if they talk to Nick Foles about the job. The guy's a genius on his podcast. He has experience. He knows what quarterbacks like. Also, why don't they interview Joe Brady? Well, two things. One, you just mentioned, Alex, the issue with Philip Rivers. The guy's never coached in the NFL. We saw what happened with Jeff Saturday a couple of years ago. You bring in a guy who's never coached in the NFL, it's a huge learning curve, number one. I think asking Foles to be the offensive coordinator, maybe that's a little bit more adaptable than being a head coach. Listen, I think Nick Foles is very happy, living his best life.
Girl dad.
Being a girl dad, season podcast. He don't want to come back to football and grind for 18 hours a day during the season. I think he's done with that. Joe Brady is an interesting name because he's a guy who's being looked at for head coaching jobs. And he was a guy that you and I talked about. Could he be the Penn State head coach?
I was going to say, he was the guy I was putting money on was going to get the Penn State job.
And now it's like, well, where is he going to go? I think that is part of the conversation as well. Let's squeeze in, Trey from Hamilton, I don't want to shortchange you because you have a text coming in here. I don't want to delegitimize it by shortchanging it because there is one of the points you make in there that is very important. The other 2 points you make are kind of irrelevant. But there's one point you make in there, Trey and Hamilton, I think is a very, very, very important part of this conversation. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. More of your texts coming up on the other side. Eagles Offensive Coordinator, who should it be and why? We'll get into all that, the issues with the Eagles. Plus, somehow the Flyers went on the road and got 5 out of 6 points against 3 of the best teams in the Western Conference. We will get into that. Also, the state of boxing with Larry Goldberg for Boxing Insider Promotions. He comes up at 1:25. Rob Mai for the Associated Press at 2:25. All that and more to come. Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN.
Sunday morning in the locker with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and my twin brother Bobby Schwein join me in the studio. My intern Erin Ewing will don the stripes and sit between us.
I can't wait to witness the Schweims go at it.
Hour 1, we'll talk with Fox 29 News Eagles analyst Gary Cobb about the Birds offseason. Hour 2, we'll recap the Sixers-Knicks action, plus hear from Kevin Durso, who covers the Flyers for 97.3 ESPN.com.
So tune into the locker room with Billy Schwein, Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
It's clearance time at Bridgeton Chevrolet GMC, your destination for savings. Proudly serving South Jersey for over 50 years, we treat you like one of our own. Right now, get the 2026 Jeep Wrangler. Lease it for $299 a month with $35.95 down and 5,000 miles a year for 36 months. Tax and fees not included. It's clearance time, but hurry, these deals won't last. Visit 808 North Pearl Street in Bridgeton or at BridgetonChevroletGMC.com.
Se habla español.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
The champs are back, and it's game time at the family-owned Piccalilli Inn. Skip the lame chains. Treat your friends to their world-famous wings for eat-in or carry-out, and 6-packs to go. Get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 in Shamong. Visit Piccalilli.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him! It's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Being brought to you by my guy over at Work of Art Construction. Art Maskers, 40 years of construction experience and know-how can make your home look brand new. Listen, after this weather storm is coming through, I know some people are going to need work on their homes because deep freeze, cold, you're going to need, maybe you need help with the back deck. Maybe you need a new front door. Maybe you need new windows. Maybe you just spent your whole weekend at home and you hate your bathroom. Well, Work of Art Construction can help you beautify your home. Call them at 609-788-4271. Let them know you heard about them on 97.3 ESPN and receive 10% off. Yes, 10% off your next home job. Work of Art Construction. Check out their work on Instagram at Work of Art Construction NJ. Beautify your home with Work of Art. 609-788-4271. Save 10% off your next home makeover job when you mention 97.3 ESPN. Let Art Masker and his team make your home look like truly a work of art. All right. We'll get back to text board in just a minute, 609-403-0973. I did want to mention, I don't want to shortchange Trey and Hamilton, Alex, because while I disagree with part of what he is saying, I think there's one point he makes that's extremely important to this conversation. Still to come on the show, Larry Goldberg from Boxing Insider Promotions. He'll talk about the state of boxing coming up with us in 2026 at 1:25. Also, a little bit later this hour, Flyers hockey we got to get into. How have the Flyers? How? You lost like 5 games in a row. Then you go on the road trip and you almost get 6 points. What gives? We'll get to that a little bit later this hour. But as I mentioned, so Trey from Hamilton sent a text board. Now, I will preface this by saying Trey in Hamilton has a long history of being a bit of a hater. Okay? So I'm well aware that's who he is. But I think one of the things he says in this text is extremely important to point out. When someone's right, Alex, I'm going to tell them they're right. When they're wrong, I'm going to tell them they're wrong. Okay? Trey in Hamilton says, A.J. Brown is going to get traded. Dallas Goedert is a free agent. The offensive line is not the same, and you have an average quarterback. This is not the best job around, says Trey in Hamilton. Well, a couple of things there, Trey. Number one, A.J. Brown's going to get traded. You're right. And I think anyone who thinks he's not going to get traded is smoking some good stuff and can you pass it along. Dallas Goedert's a free agent. I have said, Trey, and maybe you didn't hear me last week here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, I think Dallas Goedert is 90% gone. I think that teams are going to see that he had 11 receiving touchdowns last year. They're going to overpay for his services, and the Eagles are going to replace him. So, in theory, you could be without 2 of your top 3 receiving targets next year. Now, the Eagles have a long history of knowing how to reload. I believe Howie Roseman, who is arguably the best general manager in football, he will find a way to replace those guys, whether it's through the draft, free agency, whatever. The bigger point that Trey makes is the offensive line. The regression of the O-line, I think, is probably the biggest concern for everyone, and Chris Long brought it up on the Rich Eisen show this week on 97.3 ESPN.
We're about to enter like the post Jeff Stoutland's All-Stars era, which is like the offensive line's been the main character on this team for the better part of a decade. You need to realize that, and you need to plan for not the group falling off, but this year it wasn't very good.
I think that's where the interesting conversation is, because if you are a organization, you're a coach, and you're interviewing for this job, and the Eagles are like, look, we love Jeff Stoutland, he's our guy. If I'm the guy in the interview, I'm going to say, well, then what happened last year? How did this team go from being, for a decade, one of the best O-lines in football to that level of regression? Is it just injuries? Is it Stoutland not getting through to the guys? Do you need new guys? I think those are important questions. And I think Trey and Hamilton, the rest of what you said is subjective. The offensive line conversation is very important because maybe that is where, Alex, these teams are coming in and they're saying, these coaches are coming in and they're saying, I don't know if I want that job, because if you're telling me I have to keep Jeff Stoutland, if I'm being told he is my O-line coach, I need to be assured that Jeff Stoutland, that last year is not a pattern of things to come, and that it's just an anomaly.
There's no doubt the offensive line was a big part of why this season did not go well. Injuries, everybody played less than what they're used to. Like Jordan Mailata, for example. I have no faith that Jordan Mailata is going to go into next year and put out what he put out this past season.
So you think he'll get better?
Yeah, I think there's some seasons where everybody just plays above what their average is.
Okay.
And then I think there's also some years where we just saw everyone just has a bad year. Injury part, I think, Juergens, we were seeing Steen a lot. Landon Dickerson always hurt. Lane Johnson, of course. Maybe the Eagles getting bounced out early here might be a little blessing, because you saw with the Kansas City Chiefs, they even said And also in hockey, too, with these Florida teams, when they keep going to the Cup finals, they keep going to the Super Bowl year after year after year.
The deep runs weigh down their bodies.
It weighs on their bodies. Now, look, yeah, we still made the playoffs, but it was one and done. Maybe that's great for a guy like Cam Jurgens or Landon Dickerson, where you're not playing an extra 4 weeks of intense 10 times the level of football that you would be playing in a regular season. So, now look, we might have seen Lane Johnson's last down of football. I don't think so, because I don't think he's going to go out on an injury. And
Exactly.
I just don't see that happening. Now, I do see them getting a replacement for him just in case, because there will probably be some injury concerns next season, but I don't believe that this offensive line is going to look this bad next season and go forward.
I don't think it'll look this bad. I think you're 100% right. I do believe and agree that Lane Johnson is going to come back. I don't think he's retiring just yet. I think Dickerson will be fine. He just needs an offseason to recover. And I'm kind of 50-50 on Mailata. I'm a little confused about his situation, Alex, because, if you were watching Hard Knocks, he's out there coaching the other guys up. And it's like, there's a part of me that's like, can someone coach Mailata up? Like, why is he out there coaching up other guys and, no one's coaching him up? So, and this is where I think if you're a coordinator, if you are Brian Daboll, Matt Nagy, Declan Doyle, whoever comes in here, I think that's why this is an important conversation, because the Mailata thing, has he hit his ceiling? Is this who he is, or is there another step in his evolution? There's two other names we haven't mentioned, though. The Cam Jurgens back injury. He regressed this year. Now, is that because of the wear and tear on his body? Or is that because he didn't recover properly? We'll have to wait to find out. I am not impressed with Tyler Steen. I would like to see the Eagles replace him at right guard. I think that there is an opportunity to go out there and get I'm not saying literally these players, but a Mekhi Becton, Brandon Brooks type of road grader to replace him. Now, whether that's drafting a guy like Alabama's Proctor in the draft or someone in free agency, I think if you go out and get Tyler Steen, he is a replacement. I think the problem with this conversation for someone like Trey and Hamilton texting in at 609-403-0973, Trey, to your point is, you're right about the O-line is a huge concern. But the other issues are all fixable things. A.J. Brown being gone, you can replace him, okay? No one is unreplaceable in the NFL unless you're one of the best of all time, okay? You don't replace Jerry Rice. You don't replace Tom Brady. Those are irreplaceable people.
Drake May's looking pretty. I'm not saying it's replaced, but Drake May's about to bring him to the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't go that far.
No,
I
just had to say it.
Dallas Goedert, that guy before this year has been injured every year. So you can replace that guy. I would say let's replace Tyler Steen with the offensive line looks like, because the Eagles have had their most success when they've had those big boys in the middle of the offensive line. I mentioned Mekhi Becton last year. Before that was Brandon Brooks. Remember, Stefan Wisniewski slid in for the 2017 season. He was a big, strong dude on the interior of the line. When they've had the big guards surrounding the center, it has been a big part of the Jeff Stoutland scheme. I did not overlook the average quarterback comment, Trey and Hamilton. Jalen Hurts is not an average quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Does he have limitations? Absolutely. But so does every quarterback. Every quarterback in sports has limitations. Just because he's not a top 5 quarterback doesn't mean you can't win championships. That's why, as Chris Long says, you need to bring in a coordinator who's going to push Hurts to take that next step.
I'm not absolving the OC. He lost his job for a reason. But if there are certain things that they had to withhold that, are not quarterback preferences, then they have to press him to do those things this offseason. The guy's won a Super Bowl. He's beaten Patrick Mahomes on the biggest stage. Do I think he's one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the NFL? No. But that's perfectly fine, dude. You can win with Jalen Hurts. You have in the past. You have to build some continuity, and you have to press him, challenge him to do things he's not comfortable with.
The last three coaches who pressed Jalen Hurts, they coached him hard. Kellen Moore, Shane Steichen, Lincoln Riley. Well, those were the three best years of Jalen Hurts' life, right? So, we have a track record that if you coach him hard, you push him, you can win a championship. You have a MVP runner-up. You have a Heisman Trophy runner-up. That's not an average quarterback. To me, an average quarterback is somebody who you cannot get past a certain point. An average quarterback is somebody who they can take you to a certain point, but they cannot be the reason why you win games. Who's an average quarterback? You're going to see it this weekend. Sam Darnold is an average quarterback. He needs a run game. He needs the defense. You're not asking him to win you games. You're asking him not to lose games. Jared Stidham tomorrow. He ain't winning you the game, but he can certainly lose you the game, okay? In the NFL today, there are average, there are good, and then there are elite quarterbacks. The problem is there's only like 4 of those elite quarterbacks. We got to stop acting like if your name isn't Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson, that you stink. We got to stop it. We got to stop acting like because Jalen Hurts is not those 4 guys that he's a bum. He's not a bum because he has done something that the aforementioned Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson have never done. And that's win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP, by the way. So unless we're going to say that winning a championship is irrelevant, we cannot blame Jalen Hurts for everything.
I'm looking at some of these texts coming in here, and there's a lot of interesting things. There's one I want to see if you're going to read the one that I'm looking at.
Is it, well, I see Steve from Ventnor about Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
All right, I will address that in a minute. 609-403-0970. I also see Paul from Millville. I do like his text I want to get to as well. All right, I'll get to Stephen Ventnor here. All right, because it's a long one. It's a bit of a paragraph, but I'm not gonna AI summarize it though. For those who don't know, our text board gives us AI summaries now, and they're like the worst thing in the world. I absolutely hate it. Me and Mike Gill are like, this is like the dumbest new feature we've been given. This is where AI does not help. Stephen Ventnor says, I truly believe everyone is sick of Jalen's act. The wide receivers don't want to run crisp routes and sacrifice their body for him. The O-line doesn't want to block as hard for him. Hurts is the problem. Are people scared to admit that? Steve, I don't think people are scared to admit that. Okay? And I think you're wrong about that. Because if people were truly sick of Hurts' act, if people did not want to... Your description would not be coming from you, Stephen Ventnor. This would be on NFL Network with, Mike Garafolo. This would be reported by Jeff McClain, okay? This would be reported by people who are, in the know. I don't think anyone is necessarily tired of Hurts. Here was Jeff McClain said on his Uncover the Eagles podcast about Jalen Hurts, what people are saying about Hurts in the building.
What's really happening in that building in terms of what's really happening with the offense is that, Jalen Hurts had a lot to do. How couldn't he have? He's the quarterback to do with the offensive regression. Now, I asked both Howie and Nick that question, and Nick had said, obviously kind of went over the top about how great Jalen is, but did say, like all of us, I expect him to say this, like all of us, he didn't have a great year. And Howie just kind of said, whatever he said.
Right. So, did Hurts have a great year last year? No. Does that mean everyone's sick of him? No. And I think that's where, Steve, you're projecting a perception onto a situation. Don't project. Let's stay with the facts. If the receivers didn't want to run routes for him, then everyone wouldn't run. But I saw this year Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson running routes A.J. Brown quitting on routes. This year I saw Dallas Goedert putting in full effort to get those 11 touchdowns. So if they didn't want to run routes, they would sacrifice for him. Why is everyone doing it but not A.J. Brown? Just because A.J. Brown is a little beta male doesn't mean that the whole team hates Jalen Hurts. And by the way, A.J. Brown went out of his way to defend Hurts this year when he said people got to stop criticizing him because he has a lot on his plate. So if everyone was tired of his act, why is A.J. Brown the only person he spoke good of this year? A.J. Brown was the quarterback. That's a little weird. So, Steve, I'm not going to read the rest of your text because the rest of it kind of feeds into the beginning of the part. I understand the internet is full of people who speak very loudly about stuff. I do not have time for speculative misinformation. You want to have speculation and say, hey, you could make this trade. Let's have speculative conversations. Let's run the NBA trade machine. Let's talk about trades. Let's speculate about how we can make the Eagles better. But let's not speculate on misinformation, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, last week on Billy Schweim's show, The Locker Room, I went at it with Mark Grimes a little bit because he was looking to trade Jalen Hurts too. Now he was looking to do just a 1-for-1 swap with another quarterback in this league. Yeah, like you could say that, but like, how's that going to get done? First of all, but I just like I said last week on Billy's show, I can't wait for Jalen Hurts to get a halfway decent to good offensive coordinator this season, and just watch him prove everybody wrong, just like he's done numerous times in the past. Jalen Hurts, like you said, he's not an elite quarterback. Yeah, that's fine. But he's also the kind of quarterback to where if you just put him in a good enough system with a good enough coordinator, he's going to win you a lot of games. He won you a lot of games this year with a horrible offensive coordinator. You give this guy someone who somewhat knows how to do their job. I mean, national championship appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 he won, MVP of the Super Bowl, Heisman runner-up. Like, it's been nothing but success for Jalen Hurts.
Do people realize that Jalen Hurts already has a better career resume than Eli Manning?
Also, I've seen this meme online, and it's so true. Josh Allen, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. Mm-hmm. I'm not hating on Josh Allen here. I think, now look, this past playoff run, could he have played better? Yes. But Josh Allen has not even gotten to the Super Bowl. Oh, it's okay, Josh. Like, you know.
Yeah, go cry about it, Josh. Yeah.
No, everybody's defending Josh. Jalen Hurts comes off a Super Bowl win, makes it back to the playoffs, loses in the playoffs. Get rid of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts stinks. It's like, what are we talking about here?
Right, like if Jalen Hurts was seen crying after losing a game, we would be ripping him, wouldn't we?
He'd be getting the Joel Embiid treatment from the Toronto series.
Right. So why is there a double standard when it comes to Jalen Hurts, but we don't criticize other quarterbacks the same way we criticize Jalen?
I don't know.
I'll tell you why. It's because Jalen is not relatable. There is nothing about Jalen Hurts' personality people can relate to. Every other quarterback in this league, you know, Pat Mahomes is goofy. He's weird, right? You know, Joe Burrow, he like looks and sounds like the guy who wanted to be our quarterback. Josh Allen, he's a freak, but he seems like a great human being. Lamar Jackson, he is so talented, and he says funny stuff sometimes. Name a quarterback in this league. There's something relatable about them. Dak Prescott, he says relatable things. He talks a lot of F-bombs. We all, people, that's kind of like, the guy at the bar. Yeah. So it's like, there's something relatable about every quarterback. Kirk Cousins is like your neighbor. You know what I mean? He looks and sounds like your neighbor, like from Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
That's going to be Mendoza coming in.
Right, exactly. There's nothing about Jalen Hurts that's relatable. And so people misinterpret that lack of relatability into nobody likes him. And it's like, well, if nobody liked him, you think he'd be here? You know the last time there was a quarterback nobody liked? The Eagles got rid of him. Remember him? Carson Wentz? Come on. All right. Hang with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Alex Berardis along with Josh Hennig. We have some more text to get to coming up. I like the text from Paul in Millville. And Jack gave me Courthouse, some good texts from you guys. We'll get to yours coming up a little bit later this hour, 609-403-0973. Don't forget, Hang with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app offering you Caesars rewards. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Build the perfect same-game parlay. Bet on the game live or try their quick pick parlays that are pre-built just for you. Bet on all the NFL action tomorrow or basketball, hockey, whatever your choice is. Caesars Sportsbook has got you covered, and you can earn perks on every game like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Minimum odds minus 500, awarded as a non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll get into the state of boxing coming up next with Margate's own Larry Goldberg from Boxing Insider Promotions. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM. Streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
It's Sixers Knicks later today on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
10 seconds. Embiid, lead pass Maxey. Maxey's going to dunk it. The Sixers are going to beat the Houston Rockets.
It's Sixers basketball later today. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with? It's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The 2026 Air Force Reserve MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's iconic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall for the 7th consecutive year. March 5th through 10th, featuring the conference's top 10 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, and mascot game. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action, to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Visit maxsports.com/basketball for more info and to purchase tickets.
Oh, hello. It's me, the calculator that lives inside of TaxSlayer. And let me tell you, I love numbers. 1040s, 1099s, W-2s, all of them. With TaxSlayer, anyone can file a federal return for just $22.99. You'll get 100% accuracy and your biggest possible refund guaranteed. Now those are great numbers. Need help along the way? We've got US-based real human support. File by February 8th for just $22.99 and get the refund you deserve. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Any trade goes now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
To qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-403-5566. That's 800-403-5566. 800-403-5566.
Hey, New Jersey, ready for real savings? Switch to Allstate today. Because drivers who switched saved an average of $713 on their auto insurance. So, what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for an auto insurance quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. Based on the national average annual savings for new customers surveyed in 2024, savings vary, subject to terms and availability.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Open new users in New Jersey for 21 or older. Minimum odds minus 500. Award is non-withdrawable bonus bet expired 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it. You're out of your mind. Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here and Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get back to the text board in just a bit. Paul, Millville, Jack, Kim, McCourt, and more at 69403-0970. But I want to remind you, Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by my friends over at Boxing Insider Promotions. The first action-packed fight card of 2026 is Saturday, March 7th. Boxing Insider Promotions is back at Tropicana, Atlantic City. Margate's Larry Goldberg bringing his 7th boxing event at the Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City. It is another stacked fight card. Of course, 16-0 Justin Figueroa from Atlantic City won the NABF belt last summer. You also have rising women's boxing star Leah Lewandowski in action, as well as Holy Spirit High School graduate and heavyweight undefeated boxer Josh Popper, all part of the great boxing card at Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Do not miss out. The great blend of local fighters and international competition is only with Boxing Insider Promotions. And Larry Goldberg himself is joining us right now, talking about the state of boxing right here on 97.3 ESPN. Larry, welcome in. Happy New Year. How's it going?
Thank you very much for having me on, Josh. I can just listen to you hype this up all day long, so I appreciate it.
Well, let's get into, first of all, before we get to the fights next month, in March. The state of boxing is a very interesting transition because I think people don't realize, Larry, that, the boxing as we know it, for better and worse, is going to be changing moving forward, correct?
It's been changed. It's everything that we've accepted to be real life for the last 30 to 40 years drastically changed about a month ago, and then again a couple of days ago in Congress as they are passing new federal legislation to regulate boxing. That has been spearheaded by TKO, which is the parent company of the UFC, and they had their debut last night on Paramount of Zuffa Boxing, and that will change the entire landscape of boxing, whether we want it to or not. It's a done deal.
So what does that mean, big picture? Like, let's start with the big picture. Like, what does this congressional act mean for – because, the average fan, when they flip on the television, they want to watch a boxing match, when they want to see the big names. What does it mean big picture?
Well, big picture is this. The industry as itself has failed boxing. Right now, boxing is not on network television. 10 years ago, HBO gave up on it. Showtime gave up on it. Fox, ESPN, everybody gave up on it because the promoters collectively were short-sighted scumbags who only cared about taking as much money as they can in the short term and never built up the sport. They've been left with nothing. And it gave TKO, the parent company of the UFC, an opening. And look, elections have consequences. Everybody knows that Dana White helped get Trump elected, and this was what they wanted. They are passing a law right now called the Muhammad Ali Revision Act. Everyone should Google it. It will basically change boxing law in this country to allow them to operate boxing the way they operate the UFC, the way they operate the WWE. Up until now, boxing has been very decentralized. So I could have a fight, but I could buy on to other things. Like other promoters kind of work together, and not in a positive way, but it was set up 30 or 40 years ago to combat Don King. And it's changing, and it's going to have the effects long term are going to be felt for many years.
All right, so let's clarify that. Larry Goldberg joining us, by the way, Margate's own Boxing Insider Promotions back at Tropicana showroom in Atlantic City, Saturday, March 7th. There are people out there who are listening who are like, well, I like the UFC. What's wrong with it being like the UFC? Explain to people why that matters.
I love the UFC. That's not the issue. The issue is fighter pay. The issue is collective bargaining. The issue is if you up until now, if you wanted to invest, if Josh Hennig and Larry wanted to go invest in the next heavyweight champion, and we thought we had somebody and we wanted to spend money and bring them up the old way, once you got to a certain level, we could potentially make a lot of money. Under this system, it'll be like the UFC. Nobody's making a lot of money, including I mean, they're making a lot of money, but the fighters don't have the collective bargaining. The top fighters in boxing have always made a lot more money just because of how it was structured. So now all of a sudden, you're going to basically be fighting. You're going to be fighting in the mid level like the UFC fighters. Nobody's getting rich in the UFC world other than the Conor McGregors and a handful of other guys because it's not designed for that. It was designed to be, TKO is now a publicly traded company. They, have monopolies in wrestling, MMA, bull riding, and soon to be professional boxing.
So then what does that mean then? Like, for example, the way people, you just mentioned about the fact that, what the UFC is doing right now. So then how would that necessarily impact a place like Atlantic City?
Atlantic City has been forgotten, and Atlantic City doesn't really sort of, factor into this conversation because, Atlantic City just doesn't have boxing anymore. It's been me, it's been one or two other people who have kind of ridden our coattails or come into the market randomly, but no one's really doing anything in Atlantic City, and I don't see that changing. The UFC's model is going to be, right now, they're going to be doing shows at the Apex like they did last night. It's basically a fight factory where they'll be able to put on fights at any time they want. They'll probably bring, TKO boxing to Newark. I say Newark specifically because the Prudential Center lobbied on behalf of the Muhammad Ali Boxing Act bill, which, again, just understand is a bill meant to change the entire regulatory scope of boxing that no one in boxing has asked for and no one in boxing has really contributed to. This has basically been, TKO pushing it through their lobbying efforts.
So then, basically, it feels a lot like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, okay? Larry Goldberg joining us here on 97.3 ESPN Boxing Insider Promotions. Return to Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. Get your tickets now for Saturday, March 7th for the next action-packed fight card in Atlantic City. So you talk about lobbying. Well, let's say we get a different president, in 2028 who has got different alliances and different allegiances. Couldn't one say that maybe this will just change again in 4 to 5 years?
Nobody cares about boxing.
Okay.
Nobody cares about the fact that there's so many problems going on in this world right now, and that the congressional is the House of Representatives is spending time on boxing. I mean, this was a pet project for John McCain in the very early 90s, and it's a pet project for Dana White and Trump. No matter whatever they do now, we're going to be stuck with it. Nobody cares about boxing. And boxing is the only sport and the only industry in the entire world regulated by the government the way that it is. So it will never change because nobody cares, and this company has unlimited lobbying power.
So basically, you're saying this is more like it's only because of the people who are involved, like McCain in the 90s, when McCain
was a real boxing fan. Dana White, and look, I am not sitting here denigrating him. I think he's done an amazing job, and I don't have a problem with what they're doing. The boxing industry did this to themselves.
Right.
But this was, some people who help get politicians elected want to be, they want to do, they want to be, an ambassador or something. All he wanted was to change this boxing law, and what will basically happen is boxers will have less rights. But like if you're in their system, you're going to do well. But if you're not in their system, it's going to be like, being an MMA fighter and not fighting in the UFC. If the tree falls in the forest, no one's going to hear about it. They didn't need to change this law in order for TKO Boxing to launch on Paramount, have their first show yesterday, and take over the industry with their eyes closed. They didn't need to. This was just shooting fish in a barrel. But they are, in my opinion, a lot of the legacy promoters, the first one to go will probably be Oscar de la Hoya, are going to disappear. Right now, Bob Arum doesn't have a TV deal. PBC doesn't really have a TV deal. I mean, Ryan Garcia is going to have a big fight in February. Eddie Hearn's going to do his fights. The guy from Saudi Arabia is not putting up the money for the fights like they were a year ago, and what he is putting up is going into the UFC pot. So boxing will be like the UFC. There will not be stars. It will be, a ranking versus a country versus that for betting purposes. It's not going to be like the old days of, like they said, in the old days when the UFC used to come to Atlantic City, we all used to get excited that Tito Ortiz was coming to town, or Chuck Liddell, or one of those guys. Now they're going to be selling it. Okay, it's just boxing. It's just Zuffa boxing. And one thing I've learned the hard way is people aren't just going to come for that. They're going to come because you have to give them something. But if they're creating content in their own office that can be shown internationally, and they could just do a factory of fights like they did last night, which the fights were fine. I have no problem with it. The problem that we have as an industry collectively is going to be there's going to be very little competition. Bob Arum's, the Top Ranks, the PBCs, they are all going to go away. And they're not going to go away tomorrow. They're not going to go away next week. Nobody's stopping another company from coming in and doing MMA. But come on, PSL came to Atlantic City, and some of the people, made a big deal about it. PSL is not going anywhere. I mean, it was fun for a night, but who are we kidding? It wasn't the UFC. The only reason it was there was because we couldn't get the UFC.
Well, what we can get is thanks to you, Larry Goldberg. Boxing Insider Promotions is coming up Saturday, March 7th, Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. I know you're still working on crossing the T's, dotting the I's for that event, but I can promise folks one thing. If you still enjoy great boxing and you don't want it adulterated, you can still enjoy it Saturday, March 7th, Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. Thanks to Larry Goldberg of Boxing Insider Promotions. Larry, I appreciate you jumping on and giving me some clarity to the situation.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, real quick on the show on March 7th, we've got, right now we've got eight fights made. I've Justin Figueroa will be fighting on the card. He is not matched yet, so we'll just pretend that this is just the two of us talking because I have not made an announcement about Justin yet. John Leonardo from New Jersey is fighting. Edgar Joe Cortez. John headlined our first show at the Tropicana 2 Mays ago. Leo Lewandowski's in a great fight. Josh Popper, we're working. We've got this guy. His name is Jim Torney. It's going to be the first fight of the evening. He's 6'9" heavyweight Irish kid. So we're going to have an attraction. We have another kid who's named Rizwan from New York. He just won the Golden Gloves last year, and he had a big knockout at the Barclays Center. And we're very high on him. So we're going to have a mix, once again, of local and New York fighters. And like you said, also Josh Popper. And like I said, there's a few other local kids that we're in the process of negotiating with, but I don't have anything signed yet, so I have to be careful what I say.
Well, listen, you let me say, and I'll protect you. Okay.
Oh, Josh, you've been amazing. And like I said, our friend Angie has called you the hardest working man in local media. And I'd like to say thank you for, all the help you've been for us at Boxing Insider for the last 2 years. You've been just an amazing partner, and I appreciate you having me on and, talking about the fights and everything.
Well, I appreciate your support as well, because if it wasn't for local guys like you hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, doesn't exist. So, Larry, the appreciation goes both ways, okay?
Well, I appreciate hanging with Hennig, and it was fun. I think I was one of your first sponsors when they gave you this show, and I hope to stick around for the entire duration.
Well, that's the plan, okay? You're here until you're done with me, okay?
Oh, I'm never going to be done with you. You guys are. Look, I hate to break it to Atlantic City. You guys are stuck with us, both of us.
There you go.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right.
And we're going to continue doing these fights. We're going to continue doing them with Josh Hennig, hanging with Hennig here on 97.3. He's the best station in the area with the best host in the area. And it's just been a fun ride.
Larry, appreciate you, man. Talk soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, guys.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, as Larry mentioned. I think I almost owe Larry now, Alex, for those extra plugs there.
Yeah, he was hyping you up crazy, right? That was a Paul Heyman type.
Yeah, well, Larry does enjoy the old school pro wrestling too. So I'm sure Larry could do a whole nother show about just Paul Heyman. He could probably do a whole nother segment just talking about Paul Heyman in the ECW days and then the transition to the WWE. But that's a show for another day. Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get the text board coming up the other side, 609-403-0973. Don't forget, we are streaming live on YouTube and X in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
The exciting action of the NFL postseason is on Westwood One.
Touchdown! Touchdown! If you hadn't seen it, you would not believe it.
This is Scott Graham. Join us Sunday for complete coverage of the conference championship games. Our broadcast kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until the Super Bowl matchup is set. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's on Westwood One.
Listen to the NFL Championship Round this Sunday, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and foods. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
The Red Hot Winter Sales event is underway at Matt Black Kia. Right now, choose 0% APR financing for up to 72 months or get up to $10,000 cash back on select new Kias. And for the ultimate Red Hot Winter deal, lease a 2026 Kia Sportage LX for only $129 a month with $4,650 due at signing for 24 months. That's right. Choose between $10,000 cash back, 0% APR financing, or a lease for just $129 a month. And if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today. Visit mattblackkia.com or call 215-703-8526 for details. It's got to be a Matt Black Kia.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Save on appliances at the Home Depot with up to $1,000 off, plus up to an extra $500 off select appliances like Whirlpool that can keep up with your busy routine. The Home Depot has Whirlpool laundry appliances with Fan Fresh. This feature fans and tumbles your laundry after it's done to help keep your clothes fresh until you're ready to grab them. Shop now and get up to $1,000 off, plus free delivery on select appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $999 or more. Offer valid January 8th through the 28th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Any trade goes now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage. No charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
To qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, thanks to Larry Goldberg, Boxing Insider Promotions, another sponsor that makes Hanging with Hennig possible here on 97.3 ESPN. It's Prevail Nutrition because, well, they feed me, right? It's not just the, helping support the show, but they actually put food in my stomach, so I'm awake enough to do this show every day, every week on 97.3 ESPN, as well as producing for Mike Gill and Sports Bash during the week. And Prevail Nutrition has a special snowstorm special for you. Go to their Instagram or Facebook, Prevail Nutrition. You can get your orders now Tuesday and Thursday next week just because of the crazy weather this weekend. They deliver to Atlantic and Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City, or you can pick it up in Absecon. Listen, Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Don't let this crazy storm throw your entire life into peril. Let Prevail Nutrition make your life easier. Special Tuesday and Thursday delivery and pickups this week. Go to prevailnutrition.club to get your order in. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook for the special they have Tuesday and Thursday only this upcoming week. Prevail Nutrition, ready to simplify your life. Do like I did and let them get you the best food possible, the best meal prep service in South Jersey. Been going for almost 10 years. Ashley and her team at Prevail Nutrition, prevailnutrition.club. Check them out today. All right, as promised, Alex, back to the text board. 609-403-0973. Paul from Millville says, Josh, could you be interested in Tyler Linderbaum and moving Cam Jurgens to right guard? Tyler Steen is a certified bum and he's still on the bench where he belongs. Well, I don't think Steen is a bum. I just think he's a better backup. I think he showed that he's a very good backup. I mean, he's certainly better than Matt Pryor. So, I mean, I would say if Steen is your backup, you're good. I like Linderbaum. I think that's a good name by Paul in Millville. For those who know, Linderbaum has been the center for the Ravens. He's a free agent. I don't know if Jurgens moving him from center to guard is the right answer necessarily. I would have a conversation. Is Linderbaum or Jurgens the better center or guard? But I love the name Linderbaum. There's a good name by Paul in Millville. Where did Jack Gamey Courthouse text go? Did Jack Gamey Courthouse text in again, and that's why I lost it in the queue here?
No, I see his.
Oh, I see it now. It moved out on my queue. For those who don't know, every time somebody texts a new text, it changes the order of the text on the text board. Jack Gamey Courthouse says, thank you. Fantastic way to put it. It was a bad year. Trey and Hamilton can kick rocks. He goes on to say, getting eliminated this year is the best thing for this Eagles team moving forward. They're going to be hungry again next year. You watch. He goes on to say, I like who you are with Josh today. He is very logical, and he knows what he's talking about. Anyone who wants to get rid of Jillen is crazy. Well, Jack Gamey Courthouse, that's Alex. Alex Berardis is with me, as he is, I think, most Saturdays here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Alex, are you okay with those compliments?
I am, but my man, Jack, I read your text last week on Billy Schweim's show. He was agreeing with me, saying maybe not great stuff about our man Mark Grimes, and also, buddy, I've been here, 3 months now? Every Saturday?
Oh, longer than, I don't know how many months, but I mean, you've been a part of the rotation.
Well, I'll take it where I can get it.
Yeah, good job by you, Alex.
Yeah.
Good job being informed. Jerry in Ventnor chimes in. Hey, guys, I think Jalen Hurts resonates with people who are determined and focused on what they're doing and go to work every day trying the best they can, whatever that may entail, but that doesn't always mean you're going to win. It's how you handle yourself during situations, win or lose. So someone like Jalen Hurts, I imagine, resonates with people that give no excuses at work every day. Well, Jerry Ventnor, I'm not saying you're wrong, but there are elements of Jalen's personality where he's cold. He's a little, aloof at times, And I think that he's so protective of his image, Alex, that it's hard for people to, again, relatability is a big thing in life. And it seems like Jalen relates to his teammates more than the public at large.
I think it's, would I be lying if I said I'd like a little bit of, a helmet throw or something on the sideline?
A little extra fist pump?
Yeah. But those clips when he's getting hyped on the field, like when he says, that's what I do. Not saying exactly what he says, but, but I love it. I don't know. For some reason, that when I see him doing that clip, it gets me going every single time. I don't know. I like the whole killer mentality Jalen has because I thought the whole team had it going into this year, but it turned out none of them had it, maybe except for Jalen. But I don't know. Yeah, the whole relatability thing. See Josh Allen, he's pounding beers out with the fans. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I'd go to war for Jalen Hurts. I don't know.
We're going to get to Angie and Tuckerton and Bill Promotions. Today's text coming up on the other side at 609-403-0973. Before we hit the break, Josh Hennig needs to take a victory lap because we were talking this week on the Sports Bash about who could be the next coach, and I mentioned Mike McCarthy, who I think is going to be the next Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, and guess what? The news is out. He is the next Steelers head coach. Mike McCarthy, according to reports, will become the 15th head coach in NFL history to be hired as a head coach for at least 3 different teams. He joins Pete Carroll, Bill Parcells, and Marty Schottenheimer on that list. Of course, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, a failed tenure with the Cowboys. But for those who don't know, McCarthy, born and bred Inzer. He is a Pittsburgh guy through and through. And this makes a lot of sense because when you get a local guy who knows the city, knows the franchise, and let's be realistic, the Steelers are a better organization than the Cowboys. They just are. They're just a better functional organization. And you know what? I hope McCarthy gets the Steelers to the Super Bowl to stick it to Jerry Jones for the way he handles his franchise. He's Alex Berardis. I'm Josh Hennig. Hour 3 at Hang with Hennig next on 97.3 ESPN.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Caesars Sportsbook app is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250 whether you win or lose. Open to new users in New Jersey for 21 or older. Minimum odds minus 500. Award is non-withdrawable bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's about time pros had one partner for the whole job. Why juggle 10 different suppliers when one can do it all? At the Home Depot, you'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, schedule, next day, or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Any trade goes. Now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
To qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like rugs. People say a rug would really bring the room together. And sure, you don't know what that means, but it sounds important. Suddenly you're using words like jute and sisal. Then you see the price and lose it, because how can the thing you walk and spill on cost so much? So you devote your life to taking down Big Rug. But then you remember that switching your home and auto to Progressive could save you hundreds. So, looks like Big Rug is safe. For now. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Hey, it's Mike Gill from the Sports Bash. Hopefully, I can drive into the studios on Monday to talk to everybody about what's going on with the Eagles, plus the Sixers with a big game this weekend against the Knicks. Don't forget, you can watch the Sports Bash now on the 97.3 ESPN YouTube channel. Check it out and subscribe.
The Sports Bash, weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app offering you Caesars rewards. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Build the perfect same-game parlay, bet on the game live, or try their quick pick parlays that are built just for you. Bet on gridiron action this weekend and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. When you download the app, use my promo code RADIO250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Open new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Minimum odds minus 500 award as a non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis in the 97.3 ESPN studios. We will get back to text board in just a moment at 609-403-0973. Still to come, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will give us the latest on. There's a lot of coach openings, so there's 4 head coach openings because Mike McCarthy was just hired by the Steelers. Thank you very much for helping me out, Steelers, to make me look good. But more and more serious note, there's 4 head coach openings. There's, I believe, 6 offensive coordinator openings still around the league, along with the Eagles. So Rob Maaddi will give us all the latest on all of that. Plus, Alex, I did want to ask Rob, because he is a voter for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Jimmy Rollins, barely getting any traction in the voting process again this year. We'll ask Rob's perspective on that coming up a little bit later this hour. Also, we do got to get into later this hour with the Flyers and more. But back to the text board, because the people have spoken, Alex. They want to be heard at 609-403-0970. We've been asking you throughout the day, who do you want to be the Eagles offensive coordinator? Who do you think should be the OC? What are the problems with the Eagles? And I want to play this one cut from, so Jeff McClain on his Uncovered Eagles podcast, because we're talking about the Jalen Hurts side of this, right, Alex? We're talking about the Jalen Hurts side of what is his role in the offensive, and listen, I don't mind Steven Ventnor chiming in on the text board at 609-403-0973, saying that there has been a regression. But every time Jalen has had good coaching, Kellen Moore, Shane Steichen, Lincoln Riley, he plays great. When he has mediocre coaching, like Brian Johnson and Kevin Batullo and Press Taylor, he struggles. And I think it's fair to say, like most people in this world, not just sports, but most people in life, when you're surrounded by good people, everyone does better. When you're surrounded by subpar people, it's not as good of a product you're putting out. And as Jeff McClain goes on to say, look, we can question what happened in 2025, but it doesn't mean that changes who Jalen Hurts is.
And I'm not trying to, place all the blame on Jalen either. Jalen has won a Super Bowl. Jalen was the MVP of that Super Bowl. Jalen was a MVP runner-up in 2022. We all know he can do it. We all know he's a very good quarterback. But what happened this year? Why all of a sudden wasn't he running as much?
And it's a fair question. Why was he not running as much? But it's that because Jalen can run is why we got to remember that for as much as we want to criticize Jalen for his shortcomings, because he does have them, okay, not many quarterbacks can do what Jalen can do, and it's on the coaching staff to get more out of Jalen.
There's a lot of guys who can't really run and do some of the stuff that he can because he's dynamic. They got to get him to do more of that. And if they're not going to have him do more than that, they need someone in, as you mentioned, that's going to help become a better drop-back passer and have someone who schemes up these layup throws because there wasn't enough of that last year.
Right, that's
and quite
true.
frankly, that's on the scheme, that's on the play caller, that's on the personnel around him. Like the offensive line wasn't great. A.J. Brown was not good. So it's not all on Jalen, and I really want to emphasize that. I know that he's the quarterback. He's going to get a lot of pressure.
And I'm glad he said that because, Alex, it's something you and I have talked about numerous times here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Because I go back to what Richard Sherman said on the Nick Foles podcast, which is now almost like 4 weeks ago when Richard Sherman said this, because it was following up on something that Nick Foles has been saying for months, which is the Eagles are not getting the most out of Jalen Hurts.
He's shown he can do the things that this isn't a young quarterback. This isn't a quarterback without a resume or enough tape to say, hey, let's go with these things. He does these 6 things well. Let's go with those. He doesn't need to live in RPO. You don't need to sit there and have A.J. Brown run slants all day and then play action and see who he's going to throw it to A.J. Brown or give it to Saquon. Like it's lazy football. Draw progressions, give him high-low reads and let him play quarterback.
Alex, I think it's very simple that, we got to stop acting like Jalen is the problem and start viewing him as part of the solution.
The 2 games, it felt like when they started to implement a bit of Jalen's running ability was the Raiders game and the Commanders game. Yeah, say what you want. Bad defenses, bad team. Save it, though. Eagles could have won those games and still not looked great. Eagles went into both those games. The offense looked significantly better. And you know why? There was design runs. There was design RPOs. There was implemented schemes for Jalen Hurts to be able to use his legs. Other than those 2 games, it was just basic run up the middle, deep shot. Run up the middle, deep shot. Everybody was complaining. Jalen Hurts scared to throw over the middle of the field. Can't throw over the middle of the field. We saw in the Hard Knocks clip going into the playoffs where he's talking to the coaching staff saying, let's implement a post route. Let's get aggressive. Let's implement more things to this offense. He wanted to make this offense look better because he can play in any kind of offense. Everybody says maybe he's not smart enough. Maybe he can't read the defense. Maybe he just can't learn that type of offense. The offense that he was running in Oklahoma was a pretty complex offense.
Yep.
It takes a pretty smart quarterback and a guy who can adapt on the fly to be able to run that kind of offense.
And Alex, worst case scenario, okay? Worst case scenario. If your opinion about Jalen Hurts is, well, Lincoln Riley was telling him where to go with the ball. Great. He had a good coach. He had a good coach who gave him the information he needed to be successful and be the Heisman Trophy runner-up. Like, I feel like almost every excuse people come up for this guy, to me, comes back to, well, you know what? Maybe the coach needs to do a better job at communicating. Now, look, as Jeff McClain said, and others have said, does Jalen need to be better? Absolutely. Is some of this on, remember the Derek Gunn report earlier this season, where he said, that there are times they practice one play during the week and then Jalen wants to do something else on game day? Well, he saw on Hard Knocks, right? He saw the moment of Hard Knocks when Devontae was like, I thought we were going to slant. And Jalen's like, I thought you were coming with a dig route. And he's like, no, we practiced all week to slant. And then Jalen goes, my bad, guys. That was on me. So, I don't think Jalen is so obtuse that he's like, oh, I can't do this. I think Jalen just needs a coach who's going to get more out of him, Alex.
Which has been my whole point all along. Jalen just needs someone who knows what they're doing. You can't give Jalen slop and then get mad at Jalen when he's not turning it into diamonds. Like, what he was given this past season, I don't know who's making that offense look good. Josh, maybe like Josh Allen, like Mahomes, maybe.
Yeah, but the problem is that you just mentioned 2 guys who struggled this year because the teams around them were not as good. So, listen, you're telling me if Patrick Mahomes had a better offensive line and better wide receivers that he wouldn't have maybe made the postseason?
Yeah, it's a full team effort here.
Exactly.
It can't. Like, I've been blaming Kevin Patullo for a lot of it, but I've also said the offensive line still had a lot to do with that as well. They didn't play great. In the NFC divisional game against San Francisco, not putting all the blame on the defense, but that final drive, if they would have held San Francisco to a field goal instead of a touchdown, who knows what would have happened. Jake Elliott missed a PAT. He was iffy all year. I wouldn't bring him back next year. I think that's kind of ran its course. I'd look to go in another direction.
Look, I'm conflicted on Elliott because there's a part of me that looks at him and says, was he missing field goals because he can't play anymore or because something else? I would say bring in competition. Bring in another guy to just have him come in camp and just be like, Jake, we thank you for helping us win 2 Super Bowl championships, but we got to push you. And this is the only thing we can think of. That's personally what I would do with Jake Elliott. Look at the text board at 609-403-0970. Bill in Ocean City says, what do you guys think about reaching out to Peyton Manning, see if he would be interested in the OC job? He would be great, and doesn't he have a relationship with Hurts? Well, he does have a relationship with Hurts. They text a lot. The problem with Peyton Manning is, Bill in Ocean City, is the problem with all these former players. These guys already spent decades of their life working 16 to 20-hour days to get to where they are. I think Peyton Manning is very happy being on television, doing half the work for the pay that they're getting. Whereas if you're an offensive coordinator, you're putting in 16, 18-hour work days in order to be successful in most cases. I mean, I don't know if anybody saw the interview that Maaddi Morningweg, the former Eagles coach, did with Andrew DeCecco on the Inside the Birds podcasting platform. Maaddi Morningweg said that there were days that Jalen Hurts worked so hard that Morningweg and the other coaches on the Eagles staff were like, Jalen, you're making us look bad. Like, we all got to go home and get at least 4 hours of sleep at some point. Like, Jalen, you cannot be the OC of the Eagles and have the quarterback working more hours than you are. And I think that's where a guy like Peyton Manning, I don't think Peyton wants to go in there and put in 18, 20-hour work days anymore. I think that time has passed for a guy like Peyton. But listen, if you were to bring in Peyton or a Nick Foles or somebody during training camp, be like, hey, can you just come in here and maybe give us some tips and pointers? I think those guys would be open to that, but not working the whole time.
So it's also like, people bringing up John Gruden's name, now Peyton Manning's name. It's like, you think Peyton Manning's going to leave his $100 million deal at ESPN that he does with Eli on Monday nights?
ESPN, he's got to deal with Netflix, too.
Yeah, like, same with Gruden. He's at Barstool making so much money just making football videos.
Gruden's different, though, because Gruden has said he wants to get back in the coach.
But I think the only thing he would do is, like, if one of those SEC teams was, like, be our head coach. I don't think Gruden's getting back into it to be an offensive coordinator.
No, Gruden is not coming back to be somebody's OC. He wants to be a head coach.
Yeah. So I just think people have to realize that, like you said, like, it's a grind to be a coach, to be able to get back into that, put all your time. It's not just a 9-to-5 job. You're there 6 a.m. and you're leaving maybe 10 o'clock at night every day of the week for the entire season. Like, these guys have it. Once they're retired, they got it so made now. Like a guy like Peyton Manning, Manningcast, Netflix. He's doing all these things. He's like, why do I want to go back into that?
More text coming in at 609-403-0970. The aforementioned Angie and Tuckerton, who got name dropped during my conversation with Larry Goldberg from Boxing Insider Promotion. She says, I disagree with Larry that nobody cares about boxing. She says, I teach a boxing class, and she says, she talks about how she teaches, people who are senior classes, people with Parkinson's disease. She says it incorporates all pillars of fitness people need to as they get older. She says a lot of people care about boxing. I'm bringing a group of people to see the fights on Saturday, March 7th, and we can't wait. Angie, I don't think Larry meant literally nobody cares about boxing. I'll just say that I think that what Larry meant is that, the people who have the power to affect change don't care about boxing as much as they used to. He mentioned John McCain. In the 90s, John McCain hated MMA. And what no one talks about when it comes to mixed martial arts and boxing is that one of the reasons why the UFC is in position to try to change the sport of boxing is because people like Larry Goldberg are working their tail off to put these fight cards together. and they get no support at times. It's just them against the world. And so it's like, I don't think it's that nobody cares about boxing in the most literal sense, Angie. I think it's nobody cares about it who have the power to make things better. I think that's more what Larry meant. Listen, you and I have both been at all of the Boxing Insider promotion events. These are some of the highest turnouts for boxing events at Tropicana in over 15 years. People care about boxing if you give them a reason to care. It's like anything in sports. You give people a good product, they want to come out. They want to buy tickets. They want to show up. You know, the average fan of any sport, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever sport you want to name, you give them a good product, they care. You give them a lousy product, they don't care. And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of, stay tuned. They're keeping an eye on things because they're saying, unless you're the NFL, everyone is dependent on the product you're putting out there. There's a reason why certain teams have bad attendance numbers because people are saying, why should I pay stupid money, to use the John Milton term, to watch a baseball, basketball, or hockey team that stinks? People didn't go to Flyers games years ago. Why? Because the product was so poor, nobody wanted to pay the money to see a pathetic hockey team. Now people go out there because you got Mishkov, you got Zegras, you got Rick Taka, you got something to show up to the arena for. You give people a reason to show up to a boxing event, they'll show up. If you don't give them a reason to show up to a boxing event, they do not care. Simple as that. Alex, I thought you were going to say something there. My bad.
No, boxing I usually leave to you. But no, you're right, though. Like, I mean, when the Sixers were doing the process, what were tickets, like $9? If that, on a good game, if the Heat were in town, it was $9. Like, no, and that's why it's empty. If you're not putting out good product, people aren't going to show. And then, see, we'll get into it in a bit, but like WWE let's just say, they're putting out good product now, but they're starting to outprice their consumers, which I think you kind of have to find that middle ground where we still have to be profitable here, but we can't charge not enough to where we're losing money but selling out places.
Exactly. And, we'll get into the WWE thing a little bit later, but, WWE is an example of when you give people a better product, they care more. There was a point where WWE was struggling because the product they were putting out there was subpar. It was not the best they could offer. And now you're seeing on the Netflix show that, like, look at who's involved in the process. It's all former competitors, right? It's all guys who used to be in the business. Well, who would better know how to put on a good product than people who used to put on that good product, right? So I don't think it's a coincidence that WWE's resurgence has come under the guidance of guys in the room like Triple H, people who know the ins and outs of the business. Paul Heyman's involvement. You're always going to be better when you have people who know how to do a job than having to, like the Eagles, have a guy with the training wheels on, learning on the job. Like, why do people think that's okay? I will never understand it. I don't need Nathan Shieldhouse. I need a man who knows what he's doing to coach my quarterback.
Need experience. When you're going to win now, it's got to be experience.
And listen, I've heard it 100 times. Well, you got to get experience. You don't need to get experience with the Philadelphia Eagles. Get it somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to hire a guy who has already done it somewhere else before. I don't think it's too much to ask. I don't think it's too much to say, hey, I don't want to hire you because I can hire somebody better. It's a very simple equation to me, but maybe I'm the nut job. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN along with Alex Berardis. Coming up on the other side, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press. We'll ask him about the latest on the head coaching situations around the league. And by the way, the breaking news today, Mike McCarthy is the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Between McCarthy, Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, and Chuck Noll, he is the fourth head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers since 1969. Meanwhile, the Cowboys still a dumpster fire. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN.
The exciting action of the NFL postseason is on Westwood One.
Touchdown! Touchdown! If you hadn't seen it, you would not believe it.
This is Scott Graham. Join us Sunday for complete coverage of the conference championship games. Our broadcast kicks off at 2 p.m. Eastern Time and goes until the Super Bowl matchup is set. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's on Westwood One.
Listen to the NFL Championship Round this Sunday, exclusively on 97.3 ESPN.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Sage Jewelers is your destination for meaningful gifts and truly personal jewelry.
From certified natural GIA diamonds to stunning engagement rings and lab-grown diamonds, every piece is crafted to shine.
With expert jewelers on site, we custom design, resize, restore, and create one-of-a-kind pieces just for you.
Visit Sage Jewelers, the real jeweler, on Tilton Road in Northfield.
Sage Jewelers, the ultimate expression of love.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-923-6829 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-923-6829. That's 800-923-6829. What do you have to lose? Call 800-923-6829. Again, 800-923-6829.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City. A community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The 2026 Air Force Reserve MAC Basketball Championships are returning to Atlantic City's iconic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall for the 7th consecutive year. March 5th through 10th, featuring the conference's top 10 men's and women's teams. The tournament is fun for the family, featuring a band jam, Spirit Squad showcase, and mascot game. Don't miss your chance to be a part of the action, to see who will cut down the nets and earn a spot in the big dance. Visit maxsports.com/basketball for more info and to purchase tickets.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
The Red Hot Winter Sales event is underway at Matt Black Kia. Right now, choose 0% APR financing for up to 72 months, or get up to $10,000 cash back on select new Kias. And for the ultimate Red Hot Winter deal, lease a 2026 Kia Sportage LX for only $129 a month with $46.50 due at signing for 24 months. That's right. Choose between $10,000 cash back, 0% APR financing, or a lease for just $129 a month. And if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today. Visit mattblackkia.com or call 215-703-8526 for details. It's got to be a Matt Black Kia.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig along with Alex Berardis back in the 97.3 ESPN studios on 97.3 ESPN. Yeah, it did escalate quickly because it feels like we're finally getting people hired for jobs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be taking the Inzer himself, Mike McCarthy, as their next head coach. Get into all that news and more. NFL insider Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joins us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN on NFL Championship weekend. Rob, we get another coach hired. How you doing today?
What's going on, guys? Tomorrow's one of the best days of the year with the Championship Sunday, for sure.
Absolutely. So, but we want to get into first all this coaching stuff with you, Rob. So today, and by the way, I'm selfishly patting myself on the back a little bit. Mike McCarthy was the guy who I thought the Steelers were going to hire. They hired him today. But was it, Rob, as simple as he knows the organization, he's a local guy? Is it really that simple, or do you think there was more to it than that?
I think there's a lot of, when you think of the Steelers organization and the stability that they often look for, I don't know that they knew that Bill Cowher or Mike Tomlin were going to end up being guys who were there a decade plus. But when you look at Mike McCarthy, given his track record of success in Green Bay, and even though he didn't accomplish anything much in the playoffs with the Cowboys, he did have 3 double-digit win seasons in a row. He's had a track record of success. He's a great head coach, and he's not the new young candidate, right? The up-and-coming rising coordinator. He's somebody who is been very much entrenched into the NFL, and I think that fits what the Steelers look for. They want stability. They don't want to be turning over their head coaching search every couple of years and do some of the things that teams like the losing teams do. They want to bring somebody in here who can win and maintain excellence. Tomlin didn't get fired. He steps down, although he was under a ton of scrutiny. Never had a losing season in all those years, and the critics point to the fact that he only won 1 Super Bowl, and that was way back when. So I think it's a safe hire, if that's a word that we can use here, in that you know what you're getting, and you should be able to build upon a playoff team, and they've got some holes that they've got to fill. They got to make a decision on the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers is very familiar with Mike McCarthy, and if they want to bring him back for a year while they groom a rookie or someone that they feel could be the next guy, it makes a ton of sense. And I think that's something that could fit well for McCarthy, is having familiarity with Aaron Rodgers, but still they need a quarterback eventually of the future. And we know that Mike McCarthy's worked well with young quarterbacks too over the years. So I think it's a good, safe hire with some upside, and I don't really see much downside to it from the Pittsburgh standpoint.
So a team that is still in the market, Rob, for a coach, that being the Philadelphia Eagles, they are still in search of their OC position. Let's start with this. For you, what do you think what is your perception of this this offensive coordinator search? Because, there's a lot of speculation out there, some of it completely fraudulent, others of it, is more reasonable about how, the Eagles, that job is not for everybody, right? Not everybody is going to fit into that job and do what they need with it. Is that a fair assessment?
I think Philadelphia is not for everybody,
right?
And the job goes with it. There's a lot involved there. If you look at it from an organizational standpoint, you're talking about a team that has a top of the league reputation as far as ownership, management, just first-class organization. Wants to win, commitment to winning. So those are certainly pluses. Then you look at it from a talent standpoint. You've got, although an aging in some ways offensive line, you've still got components of what's been a dominant offensive line. You've got certainly a ton of talent at the skill positions, and we've got to see how things play out with A.J. Brown, and a running back who is all-world, and a quarterback who's been a Super Bowl MVP yet still needs great coaching around him. So I think from those two areas, when you look at it, it's a job that would intrigue a lot of guys. And I know a lot of guys were interested, and they wanted to hear from the Eagles. And some, in many cases, they have their representatives reach out to the Eagles and say, hey, we'd like to be considered for this. Now, you start to look at the criticism that the job gets, because a lot of people will like to say that this is not an attractive offensive coordinator position. And why are folks saying that? It's for various reasons. Some being that the Eagles have two out of the last four became head coaches, and then the other side of that is two of the last four lasted 1 year and got fired. So if you do your job and do it well, you might use it as a springboard to a head coaching position. If you don't do your job well, you're going to be gone, and you're going to be gone quickly. Someone's looking for stability, this may not be the job for them. If someone's looking for an opportunity to jumpstart, springboard their career, it could very well be that opportunity. Nick Sirianni is an offensive-minded head coach. However, he has shown that he's willing to let the right guy control the offense. And even to a fault this year with Kevin Petullo, we don't know exactly how much of Nick Sirianni's influence and footprint was on the calling, the play calls, and the offense as they struggled, but still, it was Kevin Petullo's offense. So it should be your offense. This isn't like going into Kansas City and you've got Andy Reid, or going to the Rams and you've got Sean McVay, guys who are going to be the or San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan. Sirianni's taking a back seat to it. So that should be somewhat appealing. Some of the other negatives that I've heard is Eagles fans, the Petullo egging of the house situation, how that plays when you're a young family or the wife. And I can't tell you everybody feels about that the same way. You can look at the talent, and everyone should be excited about the talent. You should look at the organization and feel great about the organization. But some folks may look at that. I'll say what comes along with being part of Philadelphia and the fabric of Philadelphia is having a passionate fan base. And part of that is when you struggle, they're going to let you hear it. Some people are wired to deal with that. Some folks are not. Some don't want that. They would rather be in a city or a town that embraces them, that treats them like royalty, and isn't going to egg their house when things go bad. So there's some validity to that, but how much that plays a role in, or how much that plays a factor in, I think also it depends on the guy. If you're just an offensive coordinator candidate, then you're going to be more interested in this position. If you're a guy like Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, others who are also potentially getting head coaching interviews and offensive coordinator interviews, and I kind of it's funny to me, John, what's happened this year, where you've had guys accept positions but still continue to look for a head, like Mike McDaniel. Well, if he doesn't get a job, he's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Chargers, but he's still looking for a job, right? And that's been a little bit different than what we've seen in previous cycles. But I think guys like that may be a little deterred, more so because they're still looking to be a head coach, and this is their fallback option. I think there's still some great candidates out there, and I know people want to criticize the Eagles for not making a move quickly. Let's see how things play out this weekend, and who advances and who doesn't, and who becomes available there. And let's not forget that Joe Brady, the Bills just fired Sean McDermott, and now Brady's available too as well. And if you ended up with Joe Brady after all of the conversations and the interviews, I think they would have done very well.
Rob, speaking about the Bills, it's been reported that they're looking to interview Phillip Rivers. Now, in my opinion, when you're in these win-now situations, just like how the Eagles were last year, bringing in Kevin Petullo, is it smart for these win-now teams to bring in guys who have no experience in that play-calling field?
I don't know how serious that interview was. I know they did it. I know there's a relationship between Phillip and Josh Allen, and I wonder how much of that was, let's just interview we just fired our head coach. They're at a slight disadvantage with some of the rules and who they can speak to and who they can't speak to because they fired McDermott so late they can't talk to any candidates on teams that are still playing. So there's 4 teams right now that they haven't been able to interview any of those assistant coaches, whereas some of the other teams who already had a head start on it were able to interview some of those guys. So they do have a lack of a less – their pool is smaller than some of the other teams. So given that, and what we've seen is a lot of teams like to interview as many candidates as possible. I don't think it hurts to interview Phillip Rivers. I would be hesitant to think that a guy who hasn't been a head coach in the NFL, high school is a little bit different. I know he's played in the NFL. He just came back and played in the NFL. I don't know how that would translate. I wouldn't say he definitely couldn't do the job, and you don't know until he actually does it. But I think that was more of let's give him an opportunity and just check off another. There's a lot of interviews of guys who I don't think really are legitimate candidates because teams are now bringing in 12, 15 candidates, right? The Cleveland Browns are doing things entirely different with their essay and their tests and all this stuff that I think is turning away some potential candidates. So if this somehow got serious with Phillip Rivers and the Bills, I'd be really surprised because obviously there are candidates out there who are more experienced and have had success doing it. And it would surprise me because, as you said, they're in a win-now mode. Their window with Josh Allen, and he's still a young guy. He's about to turn 30. He can be playing for another decade or Tom Brady like for 15 more years if he wants to. But their window is to win now, and it would really surprise me if you don't bring in somebody who's done it, it's been successful, and can take you over that hump because that's what they're looking for, a Gruden to what Dungy did in Tampa Bay or Kubiak and John Fox in Denver, or somebody who comes in with the team and then gets them to go to a Super Bowl and win it.
AP senior NFL insider Rob Maaddi joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, I want to ask you another side of this coaching thing because we get the NFL championship games tomorrow, and how much of some of these teams playing the long game with these coaching searches has to do with some of the teams that are in the championship game tomorrow? We've heard names like Nathan Shieldhouse and other guys who are in the championship, Clint Kubiak. Like, how much of those guys having to prepare for the game tomorrow are teams saying, look, we still haven't been able to interview everyone we want. Some of the guys we want to interview are on those teams.
Yeah, I think that the games and the results tomorrow will have a big impact because, and Davis Webb is another name, right, in that category. Clint Kubiak, Vance Joseph, these are guys who have interviewed with teams, and if they become available and their team loses, you can see a couple more of these jobs fill up. And if not, and they got to wait, it could be back to what we see quite often is it looks like a guy's going to be the candidate and he's at the Super Bowl, and hopefully for the team he's on, he doesn't pull a Jonathan Gannon and his focus is on the Super Bowl as opposed to his next job. So I think it's going to play a big role in it. We'll see. I would anticipate 2 or 3. We're down to, with McCarthy working on and finalizing his deal now with the Steelers, and that could be done in the next day or so. I don't think it'll drag like Harbaugh took a few extra days. We'll be down to 4, and I think we could see probably 2 more, maybe even 3 more this week before we get to the Super Bowl. And then obviously if all 4 aren't filled, you know that whatever vacancy is left, those teams are targeting the guys who are on the 2 teams. So a lot to be determined tomorrow. Obviously a lot of exciting football, hopefully, despite having a backup quarterback. But I anticipate Stiddy being maybe a Nick Foles-ish type backup, somebody who can step in and actually have some success.
I don't know if I go that far with Foles. I kind of view Stidham maybe more like a Jeff Hostetler, where like he's probably better than people think he is, but they're not going to ask him to win the game all by himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he kind of plays more like Hostetler. He can. Hostetler was more of a scrambling type than Foles. I don't have them winning. I have them covering though. I think they'll keep that game close. I anticipate that game being tighter than, and I know the line switched too. It was like 5.5, went down to 4.5 or whatever. So it's going to be. I feel horrible for the Broncos and for Bo Nix. Like you get to that point and you lose your starting quarterback. I just want to see the best possible football out there and the best games for everybody. And it's Seattle and the Rams is going to be really interesting. When I looked at that game, I just can't. To me, it came down to quarterbacks. Who do you trust the most, and who would make that mistake? Sam Darnold's got 7 picks and 13 sacks, I believe, in the last 3 games that he's faced the Rams, including last year with the Vikings. So I think he's a little bit more prone to a bad play here or there.
I would just remind folks that when it comes to these lines, remember that when that sharp money comes in, that's when those lines move, and a lot of sharp money came in on Denver to cover at home. So, folks, don't read too much into the line movement, because sometimes that's just the odds makers trying to make their money back. But really quick, the other game, the NFC Championship game. I mean, what is going to be the difference in that game, Rob? I think it's going to come down to which defense is able to make a play, because these are two offenses that can put up points. I think it comes down to, which defensive front. Seattle's got a great one. The Rams got a great one. I think whoever's defensive front goes out and makes a play is going to win the game.
Going into last week against the Bears, the Rams had given up 30 points on average over the previous 5 weeks on defense. And they obviously settled down against the Bears and had a tremendous defensive effort, except for that 4th and forever where Caleb Williams ran 30 yards back and just heaved it up for a miraculous touchdown. But their defense was underachieving for me, and they finally stepped it up last week. You got the highest scoring offense against the league's stingiest defense. That's a great matchup. That's exciting. When you see that, I think Seattle can score in a variety of ways. Rashid Shaheed obviously is a guy who he's a potential home run threat every time he touches the ball. They've scored on defense. They've got talent on defense at all 3 levels. Leonard Williams in the interior of that line, Ernest Jones, I think he was second-team All-Pro, Witherspoon, Eamon Worry in the secondary. So they've got a lot of talent. And then, of course, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, and Matthew Stafford having a career year at age 37. This one's going to be fun. Sean McVay against Mike McDonald. To me, this is going to come down to the very end. My upset specials this year were, I believe, 15-5. Here we go. 15-5 against the spread, my upset specials, and the Rams are my upset special. I'm taking whatever the points are, and I'm taking them to flat-out win 27-26.
I like it. He is Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press at Rob Maaddi on the X platform at Real Rob Maaddi on Instagram. Check out all of his coverage of the NFL at apnews.org, as well as all of his football coverage and his conversations over on YouTube. Rob, I always appreciate you jumping on. And folks, don't forget about Faith on the Field, heard Saturday and Sunday mornings right here on 97.3 ESPN. Miss any episode of Faith on the Field, just search for it on your favorite podcasting platforms. Enjoy the weekend, Rob, and I know you'll be much warmer than we are up here.
Oh, yeah. Stay safe in that snow. Build me a snowman. Send me a picture. I appreciate it. You guys keep up the great work.
Thank you, Rob. Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press joined us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. We will give our picks for the NFL Championship Sunday games. Me and Alex Berardis here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Also coming up on the other side, we will get our final thoughts on the Sixers game coming up. The Flyers winning 5 out of 6 points on their road trip, as well as some final thoughts on what did we see in the WWE Netflix show that has a direct correlation to success in the rest of the sports world. I'll explain what I mean coming up on the other side. Hang with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
It's Sixers Knicks later today on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
10 seconds. Embiid, lead pass Maxey. Maxey's going to dunk it. The Sixers are going to beat the Houston Rockets.
It's Sixers basketball later today. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
The Red Hot Winter Sales event is underway at Matt Black Kia. Right now, choose 0% APR financing for up to 72 months or get up to $10,000 cash back on select new Kias. And for the ultimate Red Hot Winter deal, lease a 2026 Kia Sportage LX for only $129 a month with $4,650 due at signing for 24 months. That's right. Choose between $10,000 cash back, 0% APR financing, or a lease for just $129 a month. And if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today. Visit mattblackkia.com or call 215-703-8526 for details. It's got to be a Matt Black Kia.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
Ocean's 18 Mini Golf and Bar is now open at Ocean Casino Resort. This isn't your ordinary mini golf. It's a multi-million-dollar entertainment destination with state-of-the-art technology and an atmosphere that's fun for all ages. Enjoy 2 incredible 9-hole courses, 2 eye-popping holograms, and a vibrant main bar, all in an 8,000 square foot space located on the casino level next to La Scala's Fire. To learn more, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager. Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Any trade goes now at RK Kia of Vineland. Still owe thousands on your trade? It doesn't matter. RK Kia wants any trade, regardless of year, make, model, or condition. Drive home a new Kia for $199 a month. $199. Lease new 26 Kia K4 LXs from just $199 a month. $199 for 24 months. New front-wheel drive 26 Kia Sorento S, just $388 a month. $388. Plus, you get RK coverage. No charge. Ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. No charge. Any trade goes. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. RK Kia of Vineland. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
to qualified buyers, plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Who is right? You are an ox and a moron.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Hello? Get back in the room.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig brought to you by Boxing Insider Promotions. Return to Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City Saturday, March 7th, with another action-packed fight card. It's the 7th boxing event that Margate's own Larry Goldberg has brought to Tropicana Showroom in Atlantic City. It is always a great blend of rising boxing stars, international fighters, and more in competition. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com to see the great blend of South Jersey fighters as well as international rising stars in action. Boxing Insider Promotions, Saturday, March 7th, Ticketmaster.com to get your tickets. And again, please remember to support local fighters, local promoters. It's because of people like Boxing Insider Promotions, Prevail Nutrition, Work of Art Construction. You know, we were at yesterday's Creekside Tavern in Marmora during the summer and the football season. It's only because of businesses like that Hanging with Hennig is even on the radio. You know, this is a a passion project for me, folks. I want to remind everybody that, you know, it's because of the support of those businesses and the support of folks like you supporting these local small businesses is the only reason why I even have this show here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, Alex, let's hit on a couple things here. First of all, Sixers coming up versus the Knicks. Don't forget about that here on 97.3 ESPN. Tom McGinnis calling all the action. But I would be remiss if we didn't hit on the Flyers. I wanted to spend more time on this, but the text board was just blowing up with people talking about the Eagles offensive coordinator. I did want to say this. I don't know what you want to read into it, Alex, but I am highly encouraged by the way this team has responded on this road trip. You took down the Vegas Golden Knights. You took down the Colorado Avalanche, both on the road. You should have beat Utah, but they went to overtime. Coming out of this road trip with 5 out of 6 points, Alex, I think is a huge feather in Rick Taka's cap. Sorry, that's my bad.
I mean, it's so Flyers, though, isn't it? 6-game losing streak, going on the road, 3 of the toughest opponents in the league. Come out on top in Vegas, very hard place to play. You kind of threw the game away against Utah. You had it up 3-0, and then Garnet Hathaway, lollygagging around with the puck. But, I mean, Colorado, you go into Colorado, it's the second time all season Colorado's lost at home in regulation. Like, so Flyers to get 5 out of 6 points on that road trip. But I think that was a big turning point in the season, because if you go out west, you fall on your face. You go 0-3 there. You're now on a 9-game losing streak. Like, at this, with how close the runnings are in the Metropolitan and the Eastern Conference as a whole, your season's pretty much done there. You know, Sam Harrison, as much flack as he's been getting all season long, he was the reason they won that game last night. Yeah, Tippett had the, hat trick, shorthanded goal. Mitch Cobb got 2 goals. But at one point in the first period, it was a 13-1 shot on goal differential. And Harrison was making some legit unreal saves. They weren't just regular hit him in the stomach. He was making crazy saves. So if this team can keep riding out until, we get Dan Vladar back, he was seen practicing when they were in Utah. If we can just kind of stay afloat until we get Vladar back, this team might be back in the running.
Absolutely. I don't think that's a question at all. And I think, listen, I just want to see the Flyers be competitive and be fun. And for me, these last 3 games have been fun to watch. All right, really quick, let's get our picks here. By the way, overall, I just double-checked. I am 10-6 in the postseason picks so far. So let's go back and forth here, Alex. First game tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. Patriots, Broncos. I agree with Rob Maaddi. I think Denver is going to keep it a close game. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I think ultimately the Patriots find a way to win it.
Yeah, I think Denver covers and the under hits. Like, Drake May hasn't looked great this postseason. He's played pretty good defenses. Denver, another great defense. I don't think there's going to be a lot of scoring.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I think the Patriots find a way to win just because they just have the better overall team at this point. Finally, Rams, Seattle. I have to agree with Rob as well. I like the Rams to win this game.
Yeah, I said last week whoever wins the Chicago-LA game, which was a crazy game, I had them winning this game, and I'm sticking to it. Rams are going to the Super Bowl.
And I think it will be a bit of a higher scoring game than last week's game. Let me realize last week was a low scoring game because it was a crazy weather game as well. Before we get out of here, I did want to mention really quick, for anyone, we'll get more into this next week, but because I have to finish watching the series. But if I've learned anything from watching the WWE Netflix Unreal documentary is, I think a lot of professional athletes can learn from how the WWE stars handle disappointment. You see so many of those people handle, the way those performances go. I think a lot of professional athletes can learn, live with a little more grace under pressure. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Sunday morning in the locker with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and my twin brother Bobby Schwein join me in the studio. My intern Erin Ewing will don the stripes and sit between us.
I can't wait to witness the Schweims go at it.
Hour 1, we'll talk with